following is a special presentation of ESPN College Football on ABC.
Virginia Tech, a team with a brand of ball named for its coach. The Hokies have made non-offensive scoring an art form. Georgia Tech found out about Beamer ball firsthand last year in a 51-7 rout. Virginia Tech celebrated, while the Jackets could barely stand to watch. But the Ramblin' Wreck rolls into Blacksburg with one of college football's biggest weapons. Calvin Johnson catches everything in sight, and the man that gets him the ball can be a ball of fire himself. Reggie's last chance to beat the Hokies is next. Packed Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. This afternoon, a huge game in the ACC as our ESPN College Football, presented by Best Buy, brings you a matchup in the Atlantic Coast Conference that has this whole stadium rocking. The Burnt Orange, the Chicago Maroon, 66,000 plus waiting for that man and his team. And they almost never lose at home or in the month of September. They're one of 18 remaining undefeated teams in the country. The 4-0 Hokies of Virginia Tech. Oh, are they ready in Blacksburg? And here they come. The meaning of what this team means to this city and this state. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Bob Greasy. We can't find Paul McGuire. The last time we saw him, he was so enamored with Beamer ball, he was still on the field. We'll try to find him in a minute. This is a key game in the ACC. Last year, Georgia Tech came in here ranked in the top 15. Virginia Tech was ranked even higher. And they took Georgia Tech out behind the barn and beat them 51-7. They've won 2 straight over Georgia Tech. But the winner of this game will have the inside track in the Coastal Division. That could mean the inside track to the ACC Championship in Jacksonville. Greece, both teams have very good defenses, ranked in the top 20 in the country. With that in mind, somebody's got to make some plays on offense.
Well, for Georgia Tech, 2 things have to happen. Reggie Ball playing his 41st start, making his 41st start of the season. He's been a 4-year player. He needs to play well. He's been inconsistent over his career, but playing his best football of his career right now. And, of course, Calvin Johnson. You got to get the ball, the big wide receiver, the All-American. Good things happen when you get the ball to him. For Virginia Tech, it's Sean Glennon, a sophomore quarterback, making his 5th start. He's going up against a pretty good defense. The strength of that offense are the wide receivers. He's going to be missing one, but that doesn't make any difference. All the rest of them are there. They're going to be pretty strong in the wide receiver position.
Well, you touch on a key point because this week Frank Beamer suspended 2 of his starters, 1 a wide receiver, 1 a defensive lineman. They won't play in this game. With more on that, let's go down to the field. Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie.
Hi there, Brad. You're right. Josh Morgan and Chris Ellis did practice this week, but they are not permitted on the field today after being charged with obstructing justice early Sunday morning outside a Blacksburg bar. Now, Frank Beamer told us Morgan was nearly hit by a car, which is why, according to police reports, he tried to assault the driver and was pepper sprayed when resisting arrest. Ellis was picked up for trying to intervene with the situation. Beamer said it's unfortunate because these guys really are good kids, but I promise every week to make the university proud on and off the field, and these players did not handle the situation properly. Morgan, by the way, won't just be missed on offense. He's already had 2 blocks on special teams already. And Brad, you might remember, as far as Ellis is concerned, he returned a touchdown in last year's shellacking of Georgia Tech here in Blacksburg.
We'll see what kind of effect it has. Chan Gailey has a good record on the road against top-ranked teams. On the other side, Frank Beamer at home, month of September, almost never loses. Something's got to give. Big battle in the ACC. Get ready for it. The kickoff, the Hokies and the Yellow Jackets is next. And where the heck is Paul McGuire? We'll find out when we come back. This ESPN production is available on ABC HD, presented by Dish Network. Lane Stadium, 2 questions to be answered. Who's going to take the lead in the Coastal Division, and where in the heck is Paul McGuire?
Bradley, I'm down here in the end zone. The reason I'm down here because I can see the field better than you can. But I'm down here to talk about Beamer Ball. Beamer Ball is special teams football. Each day of practice, they take one special teams and they run through it at full speed. Beamer's been here for 20 years. He's coached 231 games. 112 kicks have been blocked. 104 are non-offensive touchdowns. You can believe that? And if it happens on this field today, we are in a position to give it to you up close and personal.
Don't get a sunburn out there, Paulie. We'll watch you. The coin toss, Virginia Tech won, and they deferred. So that means Jared DeVelli's got it teed up. And back deep for Georgia Tech, Chris Dunlap awaits. 3-1 Georgia Tech, 4-0 Virginia Tech. 2-0 in the conference for the Hokies. And we're set in front of a big-time crowd on a perfect Saturday afternoon. Great kick. Dunlap won't have a chance at this one. He'll take a knee about 7 yards deep. So Georgia Tech will take over offensively its own 20. 4-year starter Reggie Ball at quarterback, and his coach Chan Gailey talked with us about how he's improved over the years.
He's managing the game better this year. He understands where we are, where we have to be. He understands field position. He understands red zone, turnovers, don't turn it over, can take the sack, can't take the sack, those types of things.
Reggie made some mistakes last year that cost his team points. Georgia Tech really never recovered after a shaky start here in Blacksburg. Back-to-back years playing here because of a quirk in the ACC scheduling when the conference expanded. That's why Tech's playing here 2 years in a row. First down from the 20. Ball deep middle, wide open, and it's James Johnson on the run inside the 40. 30, all the way down to the 22-yard line. It's the other Johnson who lights it up for Georgia Tech on the first play of the ball game. 59-yard pass play.
Brad, whenever something like this happens on the first play especially, this is the receiver right here. He's going to go down the middle. Johnson's out here, but whenever something like this happens on the first play of the game, the film study from the offensive team has seen it happen, and they come right to it on the first play of the ball game.
So they worry so much about Calvin, they didn't forget about James, or at least they won't now. A career-long catch for James Johnson. First down, Georgia Tech.
Good throw by Reggie Ball, the first throw of the game. That was not an easy throw.
Same formation. Now it's Reggie Ball, quarterback draw. Reggie broke a tackle inside the 15. He's all the way down near another first down at the 11-yard line. Let's take a look at our IBM Star Watch. Calvin Johnson will watch him. He's one of the best in the country. Tashard Choice, the main guy at the tailback spot, but we've already seen Tashard and Rashawn Grant in the same backfield for Georgia Tech on the first 2 snaps of the ball game. So Reggie gets 9 on the quarterback draw, and Georgia Tech is already at the Virginia Tech 11-yard line, 2nd down and 1 in the opening stanza of the ball game. And now Calvin Johnson's way up there to the top of your screen. On 2nd and short. Toss. Choice. First down inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech knocking on the door already as we take a look at our city offensive lineup for you. A lot of experience on Georgia Tech's front wall. One guy that's been a 3-year starter, but not on offense, is Mansfield Rotto at right tackle. He played defense up until this time this year.
And the rest of that offensive line, all 4 of them started last year, but they're not real big and physical. All of them under 290 pounds.
So far, their finesse has paid off. 1st and goal at the 5. On the ground, Choice got a couple. Orion Martin made the stop from his defensive end spot. So the crowd has been quieted and taken completely out of the ball game in the opening 2 minutes. Defensively for Virginia Tech, the guy that's the anchor in there is Nolan Burchett. And the 2 great linebackers they've got in Vince Hall and Xavier Adibi, their top 2 tacklers. And they're going to have to button down the hatches right now because it's 2nd down and goal, Georgia Tech at the Hokies 3-yard line. Choice in an I backfield. Ball's going to throw a fade to Johnson in the corner. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Just like that, the Yellow Jackets take it the length of the field in a matter of a couple of minutes, and Reggie Ball to his favorite receiver, number 21, Calvin Johnson.
And a great first drive for Reggie Ball. We saw practice the other day, and they were trying to work on this play all afternoon when we were in practice. Harris, number 1, is 5'10", 5'11", up against the tall Johnson, 6'5". They're going to review it to see if he had the ball and had his feet in bounds. But they were throwing this ball all the time. That's just good execution.
We'll wait and see if it's an 80-yard drive capped by a touchdown. Here's another angle for you. Johnson up. His right foot's already down. His left foot, I beg your pardon. His right foot goes out of bounds, but I might have my feet backwards there. His left foot had landed, it appeared.
Yeah, he had possession. His left foot is down there. He has the ball. Yeah, you don't reverse that one.
It'll be a Georgia Tech touchdown, but we'll wait for the official review. Bristol Martin is our replay official. Here's the call.
After review, video evidence confirms the call on the field. Touchdown.
Tom McCreesh, our referee. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. The fans are booing, but it's the right call.
I like it being reviewed, and I like how quickly they did review it. And let's get on with the game.
Travis Bell comes in for the point after. Just like that, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech are out in front 7-0. 12 minutes and 22 seconds. The All-American looking like one already. Will Virginia Tech have an answer offensively? They haven't touched it yet. 7-0 Yellow Jackets.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Well, Paul, I got to give you credit. You had a better seat for that last touchdown than we did.
Brad, I'll tell you, Victor Harris, I felt so sorry for him because he had no chance at the ball. If you look at Victor Harris on the outside, watch him look back. He has no idea now where the ball is. Now he can't even get to it. I mean, he gives away so much height, and there was just no chance for him.
First touchdown allowed in the first quarter in 16 regular season games. That was North Carolina State at the beginning of September last year. So Georgia Tech just blew that statistic right out of Virginia Tech's water. And now Travis Bell, Mohamed Yayawi will tee it up, and Virginia Tech will get its hands on the football for the first time. Eddie Royal and David Clowney. Clowney coming back from emergency appendectomy just a little over a week and a half ago.
9 days ago.
Yeah. That's Eddie Royal waiting on the kick. Crowd has been taken completely out of the ball game in the first couple of minutes. Let's see if the Hokies have an answer. Royal will have a shot from 2 yards deep. Eddie's out across the 20, found a seam and got out to about the 28-yard line. And that is where Sean Glennon will take over, the sophomore quarterback that Bob talked about. He says he's been waiting for a game like this for a long time.
You guys, I watched announcing on TV since I was little, and I always dreamed of playing in games like this and playing for a big program like Virginia Tech. And, you know, it's just a dream come true. I'm just trying to make the most of it. And especially, you know, there's a lot of pressure, or expectations, probably is a better word, for following guys like Marcus and Brian.
Very engaging young man that we spent a lot of time with yesterday. And obviously, if he's been watching games since he was a little kid, he meant Paul and Bob, not me. First down at the 28-yard line. And he's going to throw on first down. Quickly out, complete. Good toss out to Justin Harper. Let's take a look at our city offensive lineup for the Hokies of Virginia Tech. A lot of youth on that front wall, including a freshman guard, but the anchor is Danny McGrath, the center. Brandon Orr over 170 yards last week. Royal and Harper will be a big part. Bob talked about the wide receivers, especially with Josh Morgan out due to the suspension. Second down and 4. Georgia Tech jumps in there. Looked like Darrell Richard got an early start, and that might just give the Hokies a first down without having to try it, unless the center moved. Tom McCreesh.
Prior to the snap, contact, defense number 95, 5-yard penalty. The penalty will result in a first down.
So they get a first down by penalty. As we take a look at the city defense for Georgia Tech, the guy that causes all kinds of havoc in there is Joe Anoa'i. Even though he doesn't have big statistics, Philip Wheeler is the top tackler. Kenny Scott's a preseason All-ACC choice back there in the secondary. First down for the Hokies from their own 39-yard line. Tech showing blitz. Glennon stands up, has a look. and looks to his wideouts and the sideline.
80% of the time, Georgia Tech is bringing somebody.
Here's Orr, left side. And he got about 4. Daryl Richard, who jumped in the neutral zone, is the guy that made the stop defensively for Georgia Tech. Brandon, great game last week. I mentioned 170 yards. 152 of those came in the second half. A career high for him last week.
And he leads the conference in rushing, getting a chance to play this year for the first time.
Second down upcoming and 6. 3 wide receivers, and now Glennon will drop back into the shotgun. Greg Boone, the big tight end, is in a slot on the right side. Glennon's going to throw on the run. Nice strike, but a good tackle made out there by DJ Jones on Greg Boone, and you hear the Boone in the background. Let's take a look from Paul's perspective.
Well, when you take a look at this play, now watch Glennon come out to his right. They said they wanted to roll him out and then kind of stop him. Well, he was forced to stop because of the linebacker coming up. But it's an outstanding throw to the outside. And when you make this throw on a run, you've got to keep the ball away from the defensive guy and as far out to the outside. So only the tight end has a chance to catch it.
And Paul, I like the fact that they're rolling him out a little bit, rolling him away from one blitz and having the back pick up the blitzer on the other side.
They're down at 3 on their opening offensive march. They already trail by a touchdown. Play action, plenty of time, and now Glennon running out of time. Flush from the pocket. And now he's going to try to cut it upfield, and I don't know if he got there. He stretches out, but it looks like they've marked him short of the first down. K. Michael Hall, the linebacker, out there to make the stop. They back the ball up and just about put it right on the yellow line, but from the far side, when they walked it off, you can see now where they've spotted it. About a yard short. Georgia Tech in the country in the top 20 in just about everything and first in pass efficiency in the ACC.
John Tenuta is the defensive coordinator, and he is, like I said, one of the best in the country.
They bring out Nick Schmidt, the biggest punter in the country. 6'2", 276. He stands at his own 35.
Brad, I'm watching him from the backside here, and I'll tell you, he's wide.
He goes from hash mark to hash mark.
Oh,
not a good kick. Way off the side of his foot. It went in almost to the first row of the seats. And let's see where they walk it up. And as much as they work on special teams, Coach Beamer's not going to be happy with that punt. All the way back to about the 37, 38-yard line. A 14-yard punt. They're not happy with that. They're not happy being down by 7 either.
You're watching ESPN on ABC. ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Chevrolet, America's brand. Chevy, an American revolution. Best Buy, thousands of possibilities. Get yours. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
That's Torgerson Bridge, connected to Torgerson Hall, home of Advanced Communications and Information Technology Center. Going to be one of the spiffiest places on the whole campus when it's all done. I don't think I'm sophisticated enough to hang out there probably, although we are in the communication business. First down, Georgia Tech. Its own 38. Reggie Ball going deep down the left sideline. James Johnson again, and he almost got it to him. Johnson, who had the big play on the opening snap for Georgia Tech, and he almost had another one. As we take a look at our IBM Star Watch. Nolan Burchett. Bud Foster says he's my anchor in there. He's the leader, although he's a quiet guy. Aaron Rouse is not. He's a safety. He'll take your head off if you give him a chance. 6'4", 227. He's the lunch pail holder to practice in games every day, and that means a lot around these parts.
The defense is ranked 7th in the nation in total defense, and they are really good.
They can score going the other way, as Georgia Tech found out last year. But Tech's already got a better start going than they had the entire game last season. Ball on a run again. Reggie out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Is going to be about a yard short of the first down. Should bring up 3rd down and 1. Xavier Adibi and Barry Booker make the stop. Reggie Ball, guys running by design a lot more this year with Patrick Nix, the offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, calling the plays.
Well, Patrick Nix is doing a nice job so far in this ball game. I'm impressed. First play of the ball game, the long pass. First play of this drive, the second drive of the game, another pass down the sideline.
There's Patrick right in the middle. There you go, Grease. Former Auburn quarterback. Now the crowd trying to come to life because Georgia Tech's got a 3rd and 1. They're about 35% on the year in their 3rd down conversions. Reggie Ball, play action to choice, jump pass, got it to Calvin Johnson. Johnson inside the 40. He might be gone. Johnson 20 down the sideline. They're not going to get him. Touchdown Georgia Tech. 2nd of the day for number 21. 53 yards on the pass play.
We said in the opening that Reggie Ball and Calvin Johnson, those 2 guys had to make some things happen. They're doing that on the first 2 drives.
Paul, you got a great look right here.
Oh, I'll tell you what they did is they all went to Dunlap, number 88. And why? I don't know, because Calvin Johnson was wide open. When you start trailing him, you have no chance of catching him or breaking the pass up. But why they both defensive backs went to Dunlap, I do not know.
Travis Bell, point after, is up and good. A shocked Lane Stadium with 7:54 remaining. Already the All-American we talked about has got 2 touchdown catches on the day. 14-0. The Ramblin' Wreck in front.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Bob, I don't know if he took this from Billy Kilmer or Joe Kapp.
Well, watch right here. Brendan Hill right here jumps. And now he waits till he comes down, and then he jumps to throw it over. I mean, you can't teach that stuff. Reggie Ball's been doing this for 4 years at Georgia Tech. You can't coach that.
Bobby, that's good stuff.
And there's the battery right there. Johnson from Ball. Boy, the smiles on the Yellow Jacket sideline. We got a long way to go, but there were no smiles last year in this place. And they know it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Mohamed Yayawi to kick to Eddie Royal and David Clowney. And this one's deeper, and Clowney just watches it sail over his head. So now Virginia Tech down 2 touchdowns as they take over on offense. Coming up tonight, leading Heisman candidate Troy Smith and the Buckeyes will head to Iowa City. They'll battle Drew Tate and the Hawkeyes in what could be Ohio State's toughest road game of the season. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. College football lives here. All those games available in high definition. And what a scene outside Kinnick at game day this morning, huh? Holy mackerel. They were out there at about 8 o'clock this morning.
For miles you can see them. I mean, yeah, that was early.
Here's from Paul's vantage point, right behind Sean Glennon.
I tell you what, Paul and I agree. This is the best place to watch a ball game from.
A lot of people say you don't want the seats in the end zone. You guys love them.
You can see the line open up and everything.
And we'll watch it from right there. Glennon play action. You see him getting gobbled up. Oh, underhand pass though, and got it to Sam Wheeler, his tight end. Darrell Robertson is the guy that had him all wrapped up. A loss of 6. Bonnie?
Well, Brad, no surprise. Virginia Tech defensive coordinator Bud Foster has already kind of rallied the troops, talking about making adjustments, and the players were getting involved too. Senior rover Aaron Rouse yelling, you got to stay in your position. That's where you get into trouble if you don't. We are not going down like this.
And they lost 6 on that last play, so it's 2nd down and 16. The stretch play. Whoa, what a hit by K. Michael Hall on Brandon Orr. Man alive. K. Michael Hall, one of the leaders of that Georgia Tech defense, a senior out of Houston, Texas, just said, hello, Brandon. We'll see you a little bit later. Number 24, Georgia Tech here leading. Number 11, Virginia Tech, 14-0. With Bob Griese, Paul McGuire, and Bonnie Bernstein, Brad Nessler with you with 6:25 to go. Reggie Ball to Calvin Johnson, a 3-yard touchdown, capped an 80-yard march, and then Calvin Johnson 53 yards on the jump pass from Reggie Ball. 14-0. The visiting Yellow Jackets are rambling right now. 3rd down and 12. Here comes a blitz. Glennon stands in. Deep sideline. Royals go. Oh, he dropped it. Eddie Royal had it and dropped it.
He had Kenny Scott just turned around. Kenny Scott had no idea, number 2, where Royal was going. The pass was perfect. Everything was perfect except the catch. And Royal just dropped the ball.
Well, he was looking back into the sun. You look at the shade, the shadows. All the shadows are going that way, so he was looking right back into the sun.
So Nick Schmidt, who had a terrible punt the first time, he's a preseason All-American candidate. He'll get set to kick to Andrew Smith for Georgia Tech, and Tech should get for Georgia Tech, I should say. And they block it. It's not Beamer ball, it's Yellow Jacket ball at the 25-yard line. Troy Garside, I think, is the guy that got the block punt. And boy. What a turn of events here in the early going.
Go ahead, Paul.
Look from the outside, the left-hand side. This is where they come from. And I cannot believe that you can make it that fast. That shows you how slow, to me, the punter is. Now look it. You're just a push on the outside guy, but you've got to be able to get this ball off. That's a punter's fault.
Garside on the far side. Georgia Tech on the plus side at the 25. You never know. Patrick Nix might pull a plug right here and say, let's go get another one.
Oh,
Play action. Reggie Ball.
Down the middle.
Deep. Rashawn Grant. Oh, and a nice hit in the end zone, or it would have been a touchdown. DJ Parker saved a touchdown. They went for it all to Rashawn Grant.
That's a great call. Patrick Nix, Chan Gailey, got his troops playing on all cylinders. Offense, defense, special teams. Here he is right down the middle.
What a hit. Perfectly timed. Bang.
Well, I tell you, Parker never looked at the player. All he looked at was the ball. When he saw the ball in the air, then he looked at the player and nailed it.
Both Johnsons to the left side. Grant trots out now to the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 10. Reggie Ball designed run right side. Inside the 20. First down. 1st and goal. Ramblin' Wreck. This is what Reggie Ball has done so well all year long. A couple of weeks ago against Troy, he set a quarterback record at Georgia Tech with 130 yards on the ground, and he's doing the same thing right now.
Hey, I'm impressed. This is the best of Reggie Ball. I'm sure the fans that have seen a lot of these games have seen Reggie be inconsistent, but when you want to know the best, you're seeing it the best here today of Reggie Ball. And Chan Gailey bringing his troops in to a hostile environment. Takes the first 2 drives and scores, and then blocks a punt. Says, in your face, Frank Beamer.
This might be the best 10 minutes Georgia Tech's ever played. 14-0, trying to go for more. 1st and goal. Ball, quarterback draw. This time he swallowed up as he got near the 5-yard line. Pickup of about 2. Reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. To honor their determination, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Georgia Tech's got a couple early candidates, I'll tell you that. One's number 1 and one's number 21. 4:35 remaining first quarter. 66,000 are in total shock in Blacksburg, and it's going to get worse unless they find a way to stop Georgia Tech offensively right here. 2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line.
There's Johnson.
That's Calvin Johnson. James is to the top of your screen. Toss to Shard Choi, straight up the middle, touchdown. 5-yard run. It is 20-0 Georgia Tech.
You know what's amazing about this play is they run straight up the middle against Virginia Tech, and they split out both Johnsons, and Virginia Tech only put 2 defenders out there, 1 on each guy. So they were man-to-man. They had all 9 guys inside, and Georgia Tech just shoved it right in their face.
25-yard drive in just 4 plays. Remember, it was the block punt by Garside that started it all. Travis Bell, point after is good. And with 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter, 21-0, this one on the ground.
Just take a look at it. You're looking right into the pit, right into the heart of the defense, and they just went right up in the middle and blocked. Mike Cox, the fullback, gets an outstanding block, and there's a touchdown.
21-0. Paul, everything's right in your mush down there.
Hey, I told you guys before, you know, this, I'm right here. Here it is. I got it. Just bring them on, and when they turn the quarter, we're going to see Virginia Tech start to score a little bit. Bring them right down here. I like this.
They score in the end zone, don't they, Paul?
And you know what's nice, Bob? I don't have to use my glasses like you do.
Yeah, wait till they score. Wait till they go down the other end.
Funny how those scores come in the end zone. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
How's that?
Whenever I'd go to a game and I'd sit in the end zone, all the action would happen at the other end.
That's a long ways away. Here's the kick taken by Clowney, about 5 yards deep, and Clowney is collared and ripped down at about the 20-yard line by Tony Clark. So Virginia Tech goes on offense now. Reminder tonight, Mario Manningham and the Michigan Wolverines will try to remain undefeated and try to stay in the national championship chase too. They'll take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, battle for the Little Brown Jug, and the Gophers have got it right now. College football primetime on ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. College football lives right here. So now a worried Frank Beamer, I'm sure. A team that's averaging about 35 points a game, and they're going to need to put some up pretty soon just to get back in this thing in the first quarter. They have 7 plays and only 13 yards of offense. They fake the end around and give it to Brandon Orr, who got about 3 yards. K-Michael Hall made the tackle. Bonnie.
Brad, you saw Clowney on the return. He's coming off the appendectomy. When I talked to him this week, he said he really hasn't felt much in the way of after effects. He skipped a couple periods on Monday, but by Wednesday was almost back at 100% full speed. He said he used Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger as inspiration. He had an appendectomy and came back after 11. He said, I want to beat him by 2 days with 9.
Boy, that's tough. That's gutsy. He wanted to be a headhunter on the punt team, too, so he's a tough wide receiver. 2nd down and 7. Glennon in trouble again. K-Michael Hall has got him all wrapped up and sacks him at the 10-yard line. A loss of 13.
K-Michael Hall is a linebacker blitzing from the outside. One thing Glennon does not have are the quicks that the quarterbacks before, the Tuvix and Brian Randall, right here from the right side.
Well, but when he turns, Glennon, the first thing he sees is K-Michael Hall, number 35. He said, I got to get out of here, and couldn't.
Now it's 3rd down and 20. Glennon will work from the shotgun.
Even the bad plays are down here.
Tech will bring the blitz again. Glennon near his own end zone. Going to go deep near sideline. Got a man. And who's going to get it? Run down.
He took it.
By Harper. Justin Harper. And Virginia Tech finally gets away from McGuire and on the other end of the field.
Yeah, but the corner's about to change. They're going to be back down here, pal.
Jahi Ward-Daniels looked like he was going to have the play. It was a jump ball, and Harper at 6'4", Jahi Daniels at about 6 foot, and he just ripped it right out before he hit the turf. Great play.
That's a big play. Harper makes the first big play for the Hokies here today.
39-yard pickup and a 1st down. Virginia Tech at the Georgia Tech 41-yard line. Quick throw. Josh Hyman, he stretches it out, tries to get a couple yards, and it's Ward-Daniels who hung on to make the stop.
Brad, that was a huge play for the Hokies. If they had not made that play, they would have had to punt again.
From their own end zone.
From their own end zone, and giving the Yellow Jackets good field position again.
So even if they don't get any points out of this, it changes the field position completely, because it's been all Georgia Tech since the opening gun. Down to a minute and a half in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, Georgia Tech has shocked Virginia Tech with 3 first-quarter touchdowns, 2 from Reggie Ball to Calvin Johnson, and Tashard Choice from 5 yards out. K-Michael Hall chasing Glennon again, and he throws it down the middle, incomplete. And right now, Anoa'i and K-Michael Hall are creating some havoc on that young offensive front for Virginia Tech. Joe Anoa'i, he's the anchor. He doesn't get a lot of stats. He's the defensive captain, though, and he can really stir things up on the inside.
He's Samoan, and was talking with Allison George, the sports information director for Georgia Tech, before the ball game. I said, tell me something about Joe that's not in the media guide and we don't know. She thought a second, says, he hasn't cut his hair in 2 years.
2 years. you can tell that part. Of course, Joe's dad and his uncle were the Wild Samoans back in the WWF days, and his brother Rosie's still a professional wrestler. Glennon, quick throw to the outside, diving catch by Eddie Royal. Eddie didn't catch one earlier in the sunshine, and he got that one in the shade, didn't he?
Boy, I'm going to tell you, this ball was absolutely put in only one place it could be caught is by Royal. This is to the outside. He missed an easy pass earlier. What's the catch on this one? It's all hands, guys.
Beautiful.
Hands, bring the ball in, stay in bounds. Perfect.
The moral of the story, throw it to Eddie in the shade. First down at the 30, and first quarter has a minute and change remaining. Georgia Tech, everybody lines up there. They had 7 guys close. Glennon backed out wisely. And they give it off to Brandon Orr. Orr got down for about 4 to the 26. Philip Wheeler, the middle linebacker, number 41 for Georgia Tech, made the stop.
One more play, boys, and you'll be back down in my end.
The big thing for the young sophomore, Sean Glennon, to remember is don't force anything. Don't rush anything. Sure, you're 21 points down, but just get one score. I mean, you don't make any mistakes. All you can do is take it down and get one, and then the next time you get another one.
8th play of the drive, 2nd down and 6. Orr found a hole off the right side. He's got something working. Brandon Orr inside the 10. He might get there. Touchdown. Oh boy, did the Hokies need that one.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is Brandon Orr. You watch his feet, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this man move. The cuts that he's going to make once he gets to the hole. It looks like he's tackled right here, but not. He makes that step. He goes back to the outside, and he's gone.
Jamal Lewis couldn't quite track him down. Brandon Pace with the extra point. And then finally they have something to cheer about in Lane Stadium. With 20 seconds remaining in the quarter, Brandon Orr goes in for his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. This one from 26 yards out, and he'll come right at you on the cutback on this one.
This is a huge drive and a big score for Virginia Tech. We knew they were going to score. We knew they had some speed. Orr was having an outstanding year, and that is just a huge score for the psyche of Virginia Tech.
80 yards in 8 plays on 3rd and 20, remember. They hooked up a 49-yard pass play to Harper, and on 3rd and 8, 9-yarder to Eddie Royal. That kept the drive alive, so Glennon did his job on that series.
That catch by Harper, as early in the game as it is, as insignificant as it might seem, might be the thing that changes this game for the side of Virginia Tech.
So 21-7, Georgia Tech shocking 11th ranked Virginia Tech until that last Hokie drive has given them some hope. It's Hokie hope now, as Chris Dunlap will await the kick from Jared DeVelli. Reggie Ball, 2 touchdown passes to Calvin Johnson so far. Tashard Choice with a 5-yard touchdown run for the Ramblin' Wreck from Atlanta. And now Virginia Tech right back in it, and so is their crowd, more importantly. This place was rocking in the early going until Reggie Ball threw a long pass to James Johnson on the first play of the game. Michael Matthews, a tight end, one of the up guys on the kick return, will take it to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. Matt Weiner's got an update for us in New York. Matt, what do you got?
Brad, a Taco Bell update from Gainesville, where Alabama's made the Swamp their home away from home. They've won 7 of 8 games there. Chris Leak fumbled the shotgun. Big Prince Hall scoops it up and scores it from 50 yards out. Bama has the jump, 7-0.
Florida and the throwback unis about to throw up. They have too many more of those plays, huh? Final seconds of the first quarter. Boy, we've had some fireworks at Lane Stadium, I'll tell you that much.
28
we played
points.
one. We do a lot of games where we don't have 28 points. Well, Virginia Tech's going to have to try to rally from behind, that's for sure. So far, though, Georgia Tech controlled on the road in the first quarter. It was all Hokies out of the tunnel. Then it was all Yellow Jackets with Calvin Johnson and Tashard Choice. 21-7, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech starts the second quarter at its own 26-yard line with a 21-7 lead. Virginia Tech in the first quarter of all games last year only allowed 27 total points. Reggie Ball goes on top, completes it out across the 30 to the 31-yard line, a pickup of about 6. Welcome back to the booth. Paulie's out in the end zone. Bob and I are up here in the booth. Bonnie's on the sideline. Georgia Tech, the way they mixed it up offensively, I thought was brilliant. That's maybe the best offensive play since Bobby Dodd's days.
Well, we've had some defensive stinkers around here, but 4 of the first 6 possessions, the offense has scored a touchdown in the first quarter.
Virginia Tech really needed that last drive.
Oh, for sure.
And Orr's touchdowns got him right back in the ball game. So Georgia Tech, second down, toss to Tashard Choice, and he's wrapped up, no gain on that play. And they're still playing on Paul's end of the field.
Yeah, I kind of like it down here, but I'll tell you what, when Virginia Tech gets the ball back, they've got to give Georgia Tech a whole lot of Brandon Orr. Because if they don't get Brandon Orr back in this game like they did on that last play, they can't win this game.
You're going to get some sunshine out there, Paul. Your forehead's getting a little red.
My hair look messed up?
No,
Okay.
What hair?
That's what I said. Hair 1.
3rd down and 5. Georgia Tech's mixed it up very well today with their play calling. This is the first time they found themselves in a medium situation on 3rd down. Reggie Ball, play fake, throws complete. Calvin Johnson, I think he's got the 1st down. We'll have to wait and see. It is right about where they had to get. He took a big hit. Calvin Johnson, who actually has been, now they've got it where it looked like it's going to be a little bit short. They might have to bring the chains from the far side. Calvin Johnson injured his thigh in the game against Troy and came out, and they said, well, is he going to be able to play Thursday night against Virginia? He only had career highs, 165 yards, a couple of huge touchdowns. Today he's already got 2 touchdowns, but actually it swelled up on him again in practice this week. I spent some time with him on Tuesday. It was a little uncomfortable. It actually got worse as the week went along, but it doesn't look like it's hurting him right now. And they're that much short. Not quite a foot. Georgia Tech's offense standing out there as if to say, come on, coach, we're up 21-7, and Chan's going,
I don't think you can take a chance. This would be a good opportunity. If Frank Beamer has a dead cinch lock block on his punt team, this would be a good one to try. Good time to try it.
Durant Brooks is Georgia Tech's punter. We know about the punt blocking capacities of Virginia Tech. We've already seen Georgia Tech turn the tables and do it themselves today. And now Reggie Ball.
Reggie Ball's coming back on the field.
It's 4th down and inches. And the 4-year starter at quarterback is coming back out.
I think what they're doing, they're reviewing the last play.
The spot of the ball. So that's what Coach Gailey was asking for over on the sideline, whether or not a review would be necessary. It's an official review with 13:24 to go. And so they'll take us back to that last play. The catch by Calvin Johnson is the play that they're taking a look at. We get it from the all 22 here. See Reggie Ball roll to his left and then throw to Johnson. And he's so big. I mean, he's almost 6'5". You would think where his shoulders hit would have gone at least that far past the line. Here's a call.
Confirms the spot on the field short of a going to gain. It'll be 4th down.
All right.
Hey, wait. Official evidence. You're talking about a half an inch.
Now, wait a minute, Paul. Now, you may like those end zone seats, but from there you cannot argue where they spotted that ball.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying you're talking about a half an inch.
Let's see if Georgia Tech can get the punt off. That's the main thing you do against the guys from Blacksburg. Brooks got it away, and it's a pretty nice kick. Royal fumbled it out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Georgia Tech couldn't have done any better than that on that particular play. 21-7, but the good news is for Virginia Tech, Brandon Orr is on their side. He's already scored once. He's looking for more in a minute.
All new Desperate Housewives, Sunday at 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
The Hokies have got it back offensively at the 16-yard line. Not great field position, but no further damage done by Georgia Tech. Glennon, play action, in trouble, probably a holding call. He throws it. He completes it down to Justin Harper, but I think this one's all coming back. That flag was thrown right in the thick of things. About 2 yards from where the ball was snapped. And here's the call. It is holding Virginia Tech. Let's go back to that last punt by Georgia Tech, Bob.
Take a look at Georgia Tech's blocking guy. Look at this on this side of the line of scrimmage. Only one yellow Georgia Tech guy against 4 Hokies.
But Matthews and Cooper, 80 and 48, the 2 tight ends got good blocks, and no damage done there.
That's called a spread, where everybody on the other side too. Look how far the blockers for Georgia Tech are spread out. That's what it would. It's a very unusual style of punting formation.
And it's dangerous against a team that knows how to block punts. You know, you're talking yellow again over there. You're talking yellow in Tennessee when it was orange. It's old gold and white for the Yellow Jackets down there.
Okay.
Glennon to throw. And Harper, great catch. Nope, they're going to say out of bounds. I thought he had 1 foot down. He's a big target at 6'4", but apparently didn't get his feet down, and it will bring up long yardage situation, 2nd down and 18.
You know, we're seeing today, guys, classic examples. When you look at both Johnsons on the other side, you're looking at Harper over here and Royal. Guys catching the ball with their hands, not their bodies. And these guys work on this a lot.
This is a dangerous spot for a young quarterback. A hungry defense that likes to blitz, and you're inside your own 10-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 18.
It's being reviewed.
So we're going to see whether or not Harper indeed had a foot down when he tried to make the catch on the sideline.
Every play is reviewed.
That's right.
That's correct, and that didn't come from Frank Beamer, because the coaches have a request. You can review it.
This is an official review, not a challenge review. There's Harper. This is going to give us a better idea, I think.
The question is, does he have control of the ball when that right foot comes up off the ground? And he did.
No, it's the left foot that's on the ground when he is catching the ball. And I think he does have possession of it.
I thought he did to the naked eye when I was just watching it. It happened right in front of us this time instead of in front of Paul. He's got his left foot tippy-toe in there. And of course, you only need 1 foot down in college football. I think all of you that are watching know that. So we'll see if there's indisputable video evidence to overturn the fact that they were going to say that was incomplete. If it is a completed pass, it's going to be 2nd down and about 7, 8. So we wait on that. Here's a call.
Video evidence confirms the call on the field. Incomplete pass. 2nd down.
I think these guys just like to watch what's going on in the. All right, fellas. Whatever you say, Tom.
He obviously felt that he didn't have possession of it when his left foot was still on the ground.
So it is 2nd down and 18. As I said, you see where Sean Glennon is. Tough spot against a really good defense. Here they come. And he's in trouble, and he got rid of it and almost intercepted. Philip Wheeler is the guy that made the hit. Jamal Lewis was actually closer than the ball than the wide receiver was. Here's our Aflac trivia question for the week. In Georgia Tech's win over Cumberland back in 1916, they won 222-0. How many combined first downs did the two teams have? There's somebody out there that can probably find that out. Chan Gailey right now is just saying, hey, we just don't want them to get a first down. His team leads 21-7 on the road. And now it is 3rd down and 18. 3rd time that the Hokies have been 3rd and 10 or longer. And Sean Glennon's going to be in his own end zone if he drops back to throw. And he's going to throw it deep down the near sideline for Harper. And he's got another one. Went up and took it away from Jahi Ward-Daniels again. 40 yards this time.
You talk about some perfect timing with the young man Harper. I mean, he watches this ball all the way in, and is at the last moment goes up in the air. Watch the timing by Harper. Wait. Now go up and get it. That's unbelievable.
We talked about the strength for Virginia Tech offensively was in their wide receivers. Harper is 6'4". Word is only like 6 foot. 3 of the 4 defensive backs are new this year for Georgia Tech.
So on 3rd and 18, a 40-yard pickup. First down at the 48-yard line. And this time I think we've got them timeouts taken by Virginia Tech.
That's their first timeout.
Yeah, we'll take one along with them. They've got something working again. Sean Glennon comes to the sideline. His team down a couple of touchdowns, but they're on the move.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Nissan, proud presenter of the 2006 Heisman. Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your vote. Dish Network, better TV for all. And Pacific Life, for insurance, annuities, and investments. Choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
There's a beautiful trophy room over at Casale Coliseum. One of Frank Beamer's jerseys in there from the coach's playing days back in the late 60s. 3-year starter at cornerback. Got a lot of Mike Vick in there, a lot of Bruce Smith. Great stuff. If you ever get a chance, stop by and check it out. 11:55 to go First half, 21-7 Georgia Tech, but Virginia Tech with a first down now at the 48-yard line. Stretch play, end around, might be a pass by Royal. He's going deep, got a man open, and it's almost intercepted by Georgia Tech. Didn't get quite enough on it out there to David Clooney. Eddie Royal on the end around wide receiver pass. Kenny Scott broke it up.
He had him open. He just needed to throw it out in front of him a little more. Here he is here. One of these receivers going to go across.
He had him right there, but it didn't get it timing wise or deep enough. Second down and 10. Pat Clark is in at cornerback for Georgia Tech. He was thinking about coming off the edge. He's on the top of your screen. Here he comes. The run goes the other way to Orr, though, and he's dragged down by Vance Walker. So 21-7, the number 24 team in the country leading number 11 Virginia Tech. This was really a game for both teams to find out what they were made of, especially Virginia Tech, though they had a 4-0 record. But Georgia Tech came out storming. 80-yard drive in 5 plays. Calvin Johnson on the fade for the touchdown. Then 53 more yards. Jump pass. Reggie Ball. Calvin Johnson. Nobody's going to get him. That's how it started. Georgia Tech blocked a punt, added another touchdown on the ground, but Virginia Tech answered with Brandon Orr's 26-yard touchdown. That's where we are, 21-7. Glennon in trouble and threw it away. Philip Wheeler has been causing some havoc in the backfield. Doesn't have an official sack yet, but he's making life tough for number 7 right now.
Well, before that third down, Virginia Tech had converted 3rd and 20, 3rd and 18, and 3rd and 8.
Yep. And now the Hokies are going to have to.
Yeah, it looked like that might be called intentional grounding, because he was almost on the ground when he threw it.
That's the call. And that's lost it down, so they're going to have to kick. You don't get another shot at it.
Intentional grounding by the quarterback. Lost it down at the spot. 4th down.
So that brings out the punter, Nick Schmidt, who has not had a particularly good day so far. And that's Andrew Smith waiting on the other end for Georgia Tech. First punt went 14 yards. Second punt was blocked and rolled 7. This one's returnable. Smith takes it at the 22. And out to about the 34, almost the 35-yard line. Nice return of 12 yards on a 40-yard kick. We asked you the Aflac trivia question earlier. And Georgia Tech's 222-0 win over Cumberland back in 1916. How many first downs between the two teams? Can you believe none?
None?
Georgia Tech scored 32 touchdowns. They didn't attempt a pass, and Cumberland had 15 turnovers. That's what you call a butt kicking. Look, they had to add a 2 over there. Paul says they put the nail in crooked because they weren't expecting 222 to nothing. Right now it's not that bad. It's 21-7. 10:43 remaining in the half. Reggie Ball in the shotgun. Blitz coming off the corner from Virginia Tech, and he throws that way incomplete. Rashawn Grant slipped, but the ball was nowhere near the intended receiver anyway. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Brad, a lot of people find Calvin Johnson to be one of the top receivers in the country, and to give you a sense of what his coach thinks about him, and keep in mind Chan Gailey has 14 years coaching experience in the NFL. So remember 2 years ago against NC State, he had that catch on 3rd down that helped set up the winning touchdown. He said, I tell you, defenses go away from every tendency they can to try to cover them and then go into halftime and readjust all over again.
Remember, Chan was also the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He says he's never seen one better at any level. Reggie Ball on the run, tripped up as he got out for about 4 to the 39. I think he might have tripped over Kevin Tuminello, his center. Reggie, you see with a C there on his jersey, one of the captains.
Little talking going on down there.
Yep, little jabbering.
Vince Hall, the linebacker, talking to Reggie. Reggie is only 5'11", 195 pounds now. He's running the ball more this year by design, and sometimes that can wear on you. You get those bumps and bruises. Takes a toll later on in the ball game.
Here's a 3rd down, a big 3rd down for the Hokie defense. Trying to get the ball back. Under the 10-minute mark in the second quarter. 3rd down and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. And the officials now stop play.
Timeout. Georgia Tech. That's their first time out.
Georgia Tech will take a timeout. We'll take a break with them. A big 3rd and 5 for both teams when we come back.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
This is ESPN on ABC, brought to you by Best Buy. It's the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech against the Virginia Tech Hokies. That's Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator here at Virginia Tech, and he and John Tenuta, in my opinion, two of the best defensive coordinators, not in the ACC, in the whole country. We'll see if he can stop the Yellow Jackets right here. 3rd down and a big 5. Bud will take a knee. We'll take a look. Reggie Ball in the shotgun with 5 wideouts. Ball flushed from the pocket. Throws on the run. It's intercepted. Down the sideline. Brendan Hill. That time Reggie couldn't get it over the hill. He did the first time. That time the linebacker got him and went 27 yards the other way. Real. A flag down at the end of the play.
Boy, I'll tell you, this is so unreal from this end zone, watching how the entire defense, when Reggie Ball moves out to his right, that whole defense went with him. And they just, everybody had a zone area to cover. They covered it, and then Brendan Hill makes the interception.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 99 of the defense. 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Watch this. Watch here. When Ball goes back to throw, now they're watching the defense. Take a look at the defense. Don't look at Ball. Look at all the red shirts behind him. You got an open man. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red shirts. And then Hope makes the interception.
That's a ball that should not have been thrown.
Sometimes you just try to do too much.
Brandon Orr up the middle, diving forward to the 23, maybe the 22-yard line. Darrell Richard and Philip Wheeler make the stop. So Virginia Tech got the big turnover that they needed. The mistake by Reggie Ball. He's talking about it with Patrick Nix, you can bet right now. And it was Brendan Hall who he did the jump pass over to get Calvin Johnson's touchdown. That time he didn't get it enough over him.
Coming into this ball game, Reggie Ball had 4 interceptions against Virginia Tech, and the last 3 of them were returned for touchdowns.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat, and that was almost number 4 right there. With the illegal block, the field position not quite as good as it would have been. Brandon Orr again to the 21, where it's going to be 3rd down and about 3. Next week on Saturday Night Football, 2 fantastic regional matchups. You'll either see Oregon Cal or Nebraska and Iowa State. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Next Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. College football lives here. Here at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, 66,000 plus. Hoping now that Brendan Hill's interception can turn into points and close the gap on the visiting Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech with 8 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the half. 3rd down and 3. Shortest 3rd down attempt by Virginia Tech so far today, and they'll do it on the ground, and they might get it right on the mark. Philip Wheeler made the tackle. Let's see if they'll have to take a look at this one.
I think even if it is short,
they would go for it.
They'd
right?
go for it in this situation.
Now the spot when they put it down was not quite as good as it looked like the linesman had it over here. The head linesman put it down.
That yellow line is just approximate.
Right.
And not a definite thing.
Now the back judge is going to hold on to it. He's going to spot the ball for us, and we'll bring out the chain gang. It's the real thing. And as Bob said, even if it's a couple of chain lengths shy, 4th down, probably going to go for it. And it's about that much. 4th and inches. Brandon Orr says, come on, coach, here we go. Frank Beamer says, I'm with you. Here we come with some extra beef. Extra tight end. In fact, 2. So here's the biggest play of the game for the Georgia Tech defense.
They have so many big guys in that huddle, they couldn't all get together.
Remember, the quarterback 6'4" also. 4th down and inches at the Georgia Tech 18-yard line. And now timeout taken by Georgia Tech. 7:47 remaining. in the first half. Virginia Tech trying to pick up a big first down to keep their drive alive.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
4th down and inches as you look from Paul's seat down to the Virginia Tech offense. Quarterback sneak, and there was movement and flags down. Georgia Tech saying that the Hokies had motion before the snap. And I think they're right.
I think they're looking at render.
To the snap. False start. Number 70 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. It'll remain 4th down.
That's a true freshman, Bob.
The right guard. Render.
There he is. You see his leg lift up.
You see his rear end right there.
Everybody's moving.
Yeah.
Right guard, left tackle.
You know, now if that many guys are jumping, normally it's the quarterback's fault for not giving a good cadence. You want a rhythmic, don't surprise any cadence. Don't try to pull anybody off. You pull your own guys off a lot of times.
Brandon Pace hit 3 field goals against Georgia Tech last year, including a 40-yarder. That's where this one comes from, and he's got it right down Main Street, Blacksburg. So they wanted 7, but they got 3. And 10 unanswered points for Virginia Tech. Got them back in the thick of things with 7 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the half. 21-10 Georgia Tech. Both coaches happy. One happy that he got at least 3. The other one happy that his defense held and didn't give up 7. Brendan Hill's the guy that started it with the intercepted ball. That's what led to the 3 points by Pace. So the Cadets are over there and they've got things going on. Big halftime ceremony coming up here at Lane Stadium as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Started off with a bang. First a touchdown to Calvin Johnson of 3 yards, and then it was a 53-yarder where he outran everybody. 65 yards on 4 catches, including 2 touchdowns. And Tashard Choice straight up the middle for 5. That made it 21-0. And then Virginia Tech put a drive together in a nifty little move, and a 26-yard touchdown run by Brandon Orr got Virginia Tech its first score of the day. The Brandon Pace field goal of 40 yards a moment ago, and that's where we are. It's 21-10. Just 4 yards and 4 plays on that last drive before having to kick the field goal after the false start penalty stunted their drive. Jared DeVelli will tee it up. Chris Dunlap waiting down on the goal line for Georgia Tech. Shadows now covering about 2/3 of the field here, Worsham Field at Lane Stadium. Kick is deep. Dunlap 7 yards in will take a knee. So Georgia Tech will work from its own 20-yard line. The ACC today, not the only game going on. Boston College beat Maine, non-conference game. Virginia, coming back from getting routed by this same Georgia Tech team, shuts out Duke today, 37-0. Wake Forest is one of the unbeatens, and they lead the Atlantic Division, and they've got 4 wins over BCS teams. Now today they're playing Liberty, granted 20-7, but Jim Grove's done a heck of a job at Wake Forest to have them unbeaten. One of 18 unbeaten still remaining.
How about the Wake, huh?
How about the Wake? There's Calvin up in the circle. Reggie Ball made a mistake with his last pass. Let's see if he rebounds right here. And he's going to go deep for Calvin Johnson. Jump ball picked off again. Victor Harris with the interception. Back-to-back interceptions by Reggie Ball.
That's not Reggie's fault. Calvin Johnson's right there. He's got to break that up. Top of your screen, just going to go straight down the field. He probably can't see the ball.
He's looking up.
Yeah, he's looking like he did. You got to go up and take care of your quarterback. He was told to throw the ball up down the field to your 6'5" receiver, and your 6'5" receiver's got to help you out and not let the defensive back intercept it.
So Calvin Johnson will have a seat. Reggie Ball will have a chat upstairs again, and Virginia Tech right back in the hunt at the 7-minute mark with the ball back at the 41-yard line. Great field position. Glennon going deep, near side for Royal. Jahi Word Daniels almost had the interception, and now he's a little bit shaken up. Victor Harris, big play by him, and Bonnie, he's quite a kid.
But he had his first 2 career interceptions last week against Cincinnati, and they were very special to Macho because they came the day after what would have been his mother's 45th birthday. Maritza passed away suddenly 2 years ago from a brain aneurysm, and what was so sort of eerie for Harris was that when he had the first interception, he said, I remembered when I was a kid and my parents would tape my games, and when we would watch them back, I would always hear my mother yelling, "Go, Macho, go." And last week against Cincinnati, he said, when I got that first pick and I was running it back to the house, I heard my mother's voice in my head.
Now he's got 3 interceptions on the year now. And Bud Foster said, you know, everybody calls him Macho. I call him Victor, but he said he earns that nickname once in a while. He keeps picking off passes. I'll call him whatever you want me to call him. And that's Jahi Ward-Daniels, who was shaken up trying to make a diving interception of his own for Georgia Tech. 2nd down and 10. Glennon throws it out complete. Screen to Clowney. Clowney to the middle of the field. Flags are down on the far side. And the flags came in kind of a straight place, a strange place. I think this is all coming back. It would have been a 1st down and a pickup of 13.
The Georgia Tech coaches believe it's on Virginia Tech.
Tom McCreesh, our referee.
There is no foul. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
I think what they were thinking about was maybe a legal man downfield, but it was a screen pass behind the line of
The
scrimmage.
ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and in college football, you can block downfield, whether you're a lineman or a receiver. You can block downfield if the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
I wonder how many people in Atlanta or anywhere in the country that watched the game 2 years ago between these two teams when it looked like Georgia Tech had the game all sewed up, and all of a sudden the 4th quarter blew up on them, and Virginia Tech came back to win. Things are slipping that way.
Yes.
Momentum is changing jerseys.
It is.
And here's a wide open receiver and a 1st down to the 26-yard line to Josh Hyman. Last year, Georgia Tech had a field goal blocked, and that was a 78-yard return. That's when the wheels fell off a year ago. But 2 years ago, I believe it was a Thursday night game, that's when Georgia Tech had them right where they wanted them in Atlanta, and they let them off the hook. And now they're trying not to let the same thing happen here. 21-10 and a 1st and 10. Right down in Paul's end of the field again. They're coming at you, Paulie.
One of the things you better keep an eye on is that Brendan Orr, you talked to us about blocking, and man, is he doing a job when they're blitzing. This young man is not only running with the football, but he's giving Glennon enough time to throw the ball to the outside.
What Glennon is doing when he stands up, when he's under center, when he stands up and he looks back over to the bench, Georgia Tech comes up and is threatening blitz, and so he's looking over and sees what the coach wants him to check to. Then he goes up the line of scrimmage and then checks to the play. That's all well and good if you have enough time on the 25-second clock.
Pick up a 6 by Orr. 2nd down and 4. Play action. Glennon flush from the pocket, got a nice block, and now he's going to tuck it and get what he can. And he goes out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, a pickup of 2. There's Joe Anoa'i right there, helping to rush the quarterback to the sideline and out of bounds. And he's a good one, a senior out of Pensacola, Florida, 3-year starter. We're going to watch him a little bit in the trenches as he tries to continue to wreak havoc.
He's Samoan, as we mentioned earlier.
John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator, gives almost everybody nicknames, and even though he's from Pensacola and he's Samoan, he calls him Hawaii 5-0. That's John's nickname for Joe. At the 20.
There he is in there.
3rd down and 4. Play action, plenty of time, right down the middle, and Eddie. Oh, it's not Eddie Royal, it's Greg Boone, the tight end, a converted quarterback, even though he's 280 pounds. And he had it in his hands and dropped it. Looks like maybe roughing the quarterback. It is. It might be on Joe Anoa'i.
Well, you guys put the camera on him.
I guess we shouldn't have.
Here comes. Well, Glennon was going to throw this ball out to Royal, number 4, first. Then he just turns, he sees Boone wide open, and then Anoa'i lays him out. I mean, you just can't do that. And I agree where they protect the quarterback. That is just a dumb play.
Well, it didn't take Joe long to be noticed once we mentioned him.
I think Hawaii 5-0 was tired from the play before.
From chasing him out of bounds.
Exactly. He was chasing him, and he was in one play too long.
First and goal now. With 5 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the half. Or got about 2. Matt Weiner's got an update from the SEC for us. Matt?
Brad, it's a Verizon update from the Swamp. Alabama took the early lead on Florida. Chris Leak 45-yard run sets up the touchdown, but it's scored by the freshman Tim Tebow at the goal line. 10-7 there. Meanwhile, Brady Quinn has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, both to Raymond McKnight. The Irish lead Purdue 35-14 midway through the third.
Oh, Purdue. Oh, Purdue.
Not doing very good for the alma mater there, Grease.
Well,
they're not going to win them all.
Well, that's right. They ain't going to win them all.
Second and goal. Pump fake. Now the fade to the corner. Incomplete. Nice coverage by Georgia Tech. They had 2 guys on Josh Hyman over there. Pat Clark and Avery Roberson.
Well, there's a classic example, Grease, of a quarterback. He's going to throw it one place down here on the goal line, and he's throwing it to the corner to Hyman. And the coverage is perfect. They both guys got him, one inside, one outside, and that ball is thrown. But the neat thing about it, the ball was thrown where no one could catch it.
How's Citadel doing there, Paul? Don't be jumping on my Boilermakers.
I think they're beating Ohio State 51-0.
Oh boy! Yeah. If anybody's just tuning in, he's kidding. Almost offside on the blitz. Third and goal. Lennon throws out, and another drop ball by Greg Boone. Well, Greg is trying to get that tight end position down. I mentioned he's a huge former quarterback. He dropped 2 of the 3 drop balls they've had today.
Last year's tight end graduated, and they've got 3 freshmen at that position: Boone, Wheeler, and Wang. Sounds like a law firm.
Brandon Pace.
But none of those lawyers can catch.
That's right. And neither can Greg so far. 25-yard field goal attempt by Brandon Pace. He hit one earlier and just tucked it in the right upright there. So both interceptions have turned into only 6 points for Virginia Tech, and it could have been a lot worse for Georgia Tech. 21-13 with 4:29 remaining. Packed house at Lane Stadium. Big game in the Coastal Division of the ACC. The winner of this one has the inside track, really, when you look at the Atlantic Coast Conference and who these 2 teams have left on their schedules, of Macon Jacksonville in the ACC championship game. So it's huge today. Both trying to find out how good they are. Well, Reggie Ball, his last 2 passes haven't been good. Threw that one to Brendan Hill, trying to tuck it over the top of him and couldn't. Then he went long for Calvin Johnson, and Victor Harris was there. So those are Reggie Ball's last 2 passes.
Yeah,
and two of his first 5 passes were touchdowns.
Well, that's what we said coming on to the ball game. Inconsistency has plagued him throughout his career. He's a 4-year starter. He's playing now better than he ever has. But he came out here looking spectacular. The last couple of interceptions, not so good.
Monday night, a couple guys that know how to play quarterback will get together on ESPN's Monday Night Football. Donovan McNabb, Dante Stallworth and company against my favorite player, Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. 8:30 Eastern, available in high definition on ESPN HD and in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. Good luck if you call your cable operator. They usually don't answer right away, especially on a Saturday. But
hey, what's going on?
We ever wait around for one of those guys? They say, I'll be there between 1 and 6. They just don't tell you what day. Jared DeVelli has got it teed up.
Well, they tell you they'll call you. And they say,
yeah.
give me your home number. What for? I'll call you at home.
No, I don't like people bothering me at home. Neither do I. 4:29 remaining.
I hope either one of your cable systems go down. You guys,
we got no shot.
You just buried yourself.
We got no shot.
I love our cable people.
Here's the upcoming kick with 4.5 minutes remaining in the half. And again, it's deep. Dunlap thought about it, takes a knee. Reggie Ball started off like gangbusters in this ball game. Hooked up for James Johnson on a long ball, then Calvin Johnson 3-yard touchdown on the fade in the corner. And then down the sideline trying to get it to Calvin Johnson, and it's Victor Harris who picks it off. And amazing, Bob and I were talking about this morning. Reggie Ball, career statistics coming into the game, 44 touchdowns, 44 interceptions, and he's a 50% passer. That's kind of like right down the middle. Every time he does something good, he does something not so good.
Exactly.
He'll keep it on the ground here to Tashard Choice. They really have not established any kind of ground game because, quite frankly, they haven't had to. Those two big pass plays had them in business so early, and then they blocked the punt. So, really, they haven't tried going to Choice or Rashawn Grant too much so far.
Well, what they need to do here is reestablish some momentum. Get get some first downs, rushing the ball, throwing the ball. So when you go in at halftime, you can feel good about your offense again, because the last 2 times the offense have had it, they've turned it over.
2nd down and 7. Crowd trying to come up for the defense here. That's Rashawn Grant in motion out of the Yellow Jacket backfield. Reggie Ball, design run. He's collared and dropped. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Brendan Hill again, number 31.
I'll tell you what, this was just a blitz all out by Brendan Hill at linebacker, and he came in. He went right for Reggie Ball. Once to the left of the ball, you're going to see 31 appear. Nobody touched him. Just a perfect play by the linebacker.
Here's the biggest 3rd down of the ball game for the Hokie defense. Will Reggie Ball make another mistake, or will Georgia Tech play it close to the vest and just get rid of this thing, punt it out of there with 3 minutes left? You don't want to punt against this team if you can help it either. Remember, they're one of the best in the country at that. 3rd down and 7. Ball deep sideline at Johnson. He's got it at the 50 and down to the 43-yard line.
That is just a great throw. Just a great throw. As good as those interceptions were bad throws, this was just outstanding. Here he is in the slot. He's just going to go around and run to the outside.
No help over there. It was a linebacker that was trying to get back, Vince Hall, to try to help out.
Looking back into the sun.
You know what Swanee used to tell us? If you can't see the ball, catch the sun.
Yep, that's what he did, for sure.
Comes out to the left side this time. Does Johnson. 1st down, Georgia Tech. Now they've got an opportunity for more points before halftime because of the change in field position. Design, quarterback run again, and this one loses a yard or 2. Georgia Tech, that 1st down on the throw out to Calvin Johnson was the first down since there was 5 minutes left in the 1st quarter. So they did it with big plays. And now they're down to 2 minutes remaining. Calvin Johnson, you think he's not a big contributor to the offense of Georgia Tech? Wow.
Yeah, all the touchdowns, 36 touchdowns. He's caught 18 of them in that offense career-wise.
What I don't understand is how Virginia Tech allows him to leave the line of scrimmage with nobody touching him. They let him run free.
2nd down, 13. Tashard Choice. Had a little crease. Now the cutback run by Choice broke a tackle. Looking for Reggie Ball to throw him a block. He's got a 1st down, and he's inside the 20-yard line. Boy, and as we saw Brandon Orr do earlier, the cutback run, this time Tashard Choice. And he's got a 1st down for Georgia Tech. 28-yard run.
Well, here's Choice, number 22. Watch what he does now. It looked like Orr's run, almost identically the same. Look at that. He gets hit at near the line of scrimmage, then comes back out to the other side. He goes right into all the pursuit and outruns it.
Got an injured player, Brandon Flowers, the starting cornerback, a sophomore at Delray Beach, Florida, who got tangled up in there trying to make the tackle originally in the pit. And slow to get up, but about ready to get up, I think, with 1:26 remaining. And he's going to have to come over to the sideline. Tashard Choice, 45 yards and a touchdown from 5 yards out. Remember, he started off his career at Oklahoma, backed up Adrian Peterson. And then a special dispensation of sorts by the NCAA allowed him to transfer to Georgia Tech and play immediately because his mom was ill. So he came back. He's a Georgia native out of Riverdale. Came back home, basically. And now he's the top guy. He backed up P.J. Daniels last year. Roland Minor comes in to take the spot of Brandon Flowers on the corner. And the red zone defense has been good every game so far. They'd love another one here. Here's the toss. Choice inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. And the clock now down to a minute. Georgia Tech timeouts. They have 1 remaining.
That toss right there is what you call a clock killer. All you do is, I mean, there's no place to go. You're going to cut it back up inside. It's a toss that gives the defense a chance to react to the ball. And you're really not going anywhere with it.
Reese, don't you try the end zone to Calvin Johnson one more time here?
Tech's got 1 timeout left. And yes, you do.
And let's spot him. He's up on top on the right side. Reggie Ball wants to run with it. Trying to find some room. Looking for a first down. He's got that. He's got first and goal at the 4-yard line. Now they're going to have to hustle or take the timeout. And Reggie wanted to mix it up with Virginia Tech. His linemen are going, come on, dude, get back in the huddle. We got business to take care of.
He's a competitor. He is stubborn. He's hard-headed. He's a competitor.
First and goal. Waiting for the umpire to back out. And downs it to stop the clock with 16 seconds remaining.
Save your timeout. That way you can either run or throw on the next down or two.
Chan Gailey looking on. He's a coach that's seen some big upset wins against top 15 teams over his career, and then he's also seen some games that Georgia Tech was supposed to win and didn't. That's kind of been the way Chan's seasons have gone, although they keep going to bowl games. Last year they were 7-5. Right now they're looking to go to 4-1. It would be huge if they could win on the road. Second down and goal at the 4. There's Calvin Johnson. Bob just circling. The toss though to Shard Choice, and he is met head on and lost yardage.
Timeout.
Vince Hall. Timeout should be coming here, and there Coach Gailey comes over to take it. So it's going to bring up 10 seconds remaining.
There's a play I don't understand the play. If you're down to 16 seconds, you know you have one timeout, and everybody, you've got the best receiver in the country sitting out there. If you're not going to throw it to him, at least use him as a decoy and throw it someplace else.
Well, wait a minute, guys. You can't say that Patrick Nix is doing a good job calling plays and then nitpick about one play that you don't like. He obviously called that play because inside the 20 and inside the 10, Virginia Tech had shown some tendencies defensively that made that play look good to him.
Keep in mind now, it's still only third down. They got 10 seconds left. You want to throw a fade, throw a fade, then you bring out your field goal unit.
Yeah, I think everybody in the stadium knows that this is going to be a fade to Calvin Johnson.
There's Patrick Nix, offensive coordinator we talked about, up in the booth, calling the shots.
I still didn't like the play.
Well, you might like the next one. You got to wait.
I like the coordinator, but I didn't like the play.
Yeah, well, you're just too far away from it.
Yeah, you're mad because you're 95 yards away for the first time.
You're in the wrong end zone.
Well, I didn't get a chance to bring that up either.
Well, it's third and goal at the 6. Now they're going to put Calvin Johnson in the slot. Will they move him or will they run him from that spot? Bob, you can circle him. There he is. That's Calvin Johnson. Third and goal. Reggie Ball lobs it. He lobbed it too far. Well, it was going to number 21, but he tried to throw a spot pass right about between the goalposts, and that's not where Calvin Johnson was. So here comes the field goal unit.
Johnson kind of ran a little slant. Yeah, they're on the wrong page because he's running a little bit of a slant. Now, see,
the ball went over the other shoulder, the other way.
The tendency there is if the guy's up on me bump, I'm going to run a fade up the field. But if he's off, which he was, I'm running a slant, which he did run.
Travis Bell will try a 22-yard field goal. He had one blocked here last year. He's had a pretty good season after an up-and-down campaign last year, and the kick is up and good. So Georgia Tech tacks on 3 more. Both teams now have had a first and goal situation and had to settle for field goals. And Georgia Tech appears to be a team that's going to have an 11-point halftime lead. Here's our ESPNU All-State Standings review as we came into the day. And we told you how important this one was because this is the Coastal Division. Now look at the teams. Miami's having trouble. Will they come back? Yeah, maybe. Virginia beat Duke today. North Carolina and Duke are having all kinds of trouble of their own. But Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, the top 2 teams on this side. In the Atlantic, there's where we talked about Wake Forest. They've beaten 4 BCS schools. Now today, they're taking on Liberty, and they had a substantial lead the last time we checked the score. NC State's in number 2 spot. Clemson is ranked 18th in the country, but because we go by the conference standings and they have 1 loss in the conference, that's why they're in the number 3 spot, but they're playing good football. So that's how the All-State Standings reviews look.
The bottom line is too early to call.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of football left to be played. Is Paul going to change end zones at halftime?
Either that or we better get him out of the sun before he has a stroke over there. Maybe he's going to rejoin us in the booth.
I'm coming up, boys.
All right.
Spread out.
Okay. We were kind of comfortable up here. Wake Forest 27-7, the leader over Liberty. We understand the guys, Bob Goodrich and the guys in the truck letting us know that. course, all the scores and highlights are coming up with John and the guys at halftime, which should be one play from now. That's Eddie Royal waiting on Yawi's kickoff. He's just going to try to keep this out of everybody's hands if he can. Remember, the clock starts on the kick now in college football. It goes out of bounds, but I think the double zeros had already hit before that ball landed. That's what they were hoping for. They were hoping for a hang time on a pooch kick that would expire the half without anybody touching it. So both coaches just kind of waiting here. They did throw a flag.
Yeah, but can you end a half on a defensive penalty?
No.
Well, it wasn't a defensive penalty. It was what the ball that went out of bounds.
If it goes
out of bounds.
If it goes out of bounds, you put it on the 35-yard line, give them one play.
Thank you.
So the referee, Tom McCreesh, talking things over with Frank Beamer. Frank says, you know, I know a lot about special teams, Tom. Let me tell you something.
Let me talk about this.
You know, we're talking about Beamer, though. You know, how many head coaches that just totally takes over the special teams? That's his.
Yep.
He said he starts Sunday. He
Here we
works
have a
all day
free kick
Sunday.
out of bounds. Virginia Tech will take the ball 30 yards from the spot of the kick. One on time down.
So they got one down left.
Yep.
But he takes all day Sunday, and he said I take all day Monday, and I look at special team films, and then I put this stuff together, and we go at it.
Yep.
And he has guys on his football team that beg to get on his special teams.
Frank is kind of the George Allen of this day and age, I guess, on the college scene. George spent so much time with the Redskins with defense and special teams. Frank's had a lot of guys over the years, Bobby Ross, some of those guys that were very influential in that special team capacity that he's so fond of, and why they call it Beamer ball around here.
Yeah.
So far today, they have had a punt blocked and haven't blocked one themselves, but we've got one on time down. So it's going to be trips down here to the right side probably for Sean Glennon.
You know, when you get like
Kick out of bounds is declined. The half is over.
Kick out of bounds is declined and the half is over, so we don't have another play. Well, that was a little strange. Anyway, it is halftime. Georgia Tech on the road doing a good job. 24-13. Jan Gailey going to the locker room. And let's check in with Bonnie. She's with Frank Beamer.
Coach, when you're trailing 21-0 in the first quarter, this could downward spiral in a hurry. What was the key to stopping the bleeding?
Well, I thought our kids hung in there tough. We've done about everything we could do to help them out here a little bit there. Let a guy block a kick. We kick one out of bounds, give them field position. They're doing a great job. They got a really good football team, and we got to quit helping them.
Can you kind of clear up what just happened with that penalty?
Well, when they kick it out of bounds, if you take the penalty, they bring it back, penalize them 5 yards. They got another kick, and you know it's 0 time on the clock. If you take the ball there, then you didn't accept the penalty.
We now have a fourth analyst, Brad.
Thank you. We needed that one. Thanks, Coach. Halftime in Blacksburg, and it's Georgia Tech with a little bit of a surprise going on. They lead at the break, 24-13. And we're at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. Perfect day and the last day of September for football. A place where Virginia Tech almost never loses in the month of September. They knew that today would be a measuring stick on how good a team they had, although they were 4-0 coming in. And Georgia Tech right now on the road has a 24-13 lead. Yawi to kick, and Eddie Royal and David Clowney await as the Hokies will have the ball first to start the third quarter. And this one deep, and they'll take a knee. So Virginia Tech will start from the 20-yard line. You know, Grease, we had so much room up here and it was so peaceful when McGuire was down in the end zone, but we welcome Paul back to the booth. Did you have fun on there?
I can't hear you. Yes, I had fun. You know how great that is, that end zone.
Yeah, but the other end zone, I think, is just as good. Maybe you want to try that for second half.
All right, I'll see you guys in a little while. I'll be right back.
Well, Virginia Tech stayed in the ball game. 2 interceptions, 2 big plays on 3rd down and long to Harper, and that's how they're still in the ball game.
Exactly. I was really impressed with Georgia Tech coming into the ball game. Scored on their first 3 possessions, and they really came out on offense and let it go.
Sean Glennon to throw on 1st down to Eddie Royal. Royal's got a 1st down. He's got some room to run. He's got great speed, and he's out to midfield. Boy, that's the way you start the 3rd quarter if you're Virginia Tech.
Not surprising to see Virginia Tech coming out and throwing at the corner on that side where Pat Clark is.
Pat Clark in for
Ward Daniels.
Ward Daniels, who's had a tough game.
Well, he was hurt too. He had a foot injury. Going right to work over there on that side.
And going with a no huddle at midfield. 2nd snap of the quarter, and this time Orr's going to be dragged down for a loss of almost 3. Adam Oliver made the stop. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Statistically, in the half, Georgia Tech with the 11-point lead, the big advantage in total yardage, and Virginia Tech actually had the ball longer than Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech had those big plays. Remember, they had a 58-yarder on the first snap from center to James Johnson. Then they capped an 80-yard drive in just 5 plays. Didn't take them long. They blocked a punt. Virginia Tech has not. And that's where we are right now. Virginia Tech very much in the thick of it, though, with the possession here to open the 3rd. Glennon trying to throw out incomplete. Josh Hyman low and away. It's 3rd down and long.
Brad, they had something going on. There was a wide receiver screen. If he could have just got him the ball, 2 linemen were out there in front of him with blocks.
So 3rd down and 12. And the young quarterback looking to the sideline and hoping he can convert here and keep the drive alive. There's Jahi Ward Daniels. He'll trot out to meet Eddie Royal and Josh Hyman. And the big receiver, Justin Harper, down to the bottom of your screen. Kenny Scott is on him. That's where they're looking, and he's hit from behind, and there's a fumble. Georgia Tech scoops it up. Down the sideline is Gary Guyton with a convoy. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Philip Wheeler, who's been in the backfield all day, hits Glennon, and Guyton scoops it up and goes 39 yards for the touchdown.
Nobody touched Philip Wheeler. Nobody. He came off the corner, and not a soul even brushed him.
We mentioned John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator, blitzing 5 guys almost 80-90% of the time.
You don't draw it up any better than this defensively.
And when you come from the blind side, more often than not, the ball's coming out. Defensive score.
And Guyton down the sideline, officially 38 yards for the touchdown. Travis Bell for the point after. And much like the opening minute of the 1st quarter, the opening minute of the 3rd quarter is a shocker for the Virginia Tech fans. Wheeler with the hit. Out comes the ball. Guyton takes it for the touchdown. It is 31-13, Georgia Tech.
Beamer ball back at Beamer.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Gary Guyton just went 38 yards with a fumble recovery for a Georgia Tech touchdown on the hit by Philip Wheeler on the Virginia Tech quarterback Sean Glennon from behind. So number 41, who moved to the middle linebacker spot this year from the outside, and we've been talking about him all day long. Even when he's not making a tackle, he seems to be around the football. That time he separated football from quarterback, and Georgia Tech leads 31-13. Here's a kick, and this one will go out of bounds, much like the one to end the 1st half, and they'll move it out to the 35-yard line. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Brad, when I talked to Chan Gailey, he talked about the importance of being aggressive and how that will allow Georgia Tech to get the momentum early in the game. The blocked punt, the aggressive passing downfield. He said the reason why the deep passing game was working so well was because Virginia Tech wanted to stop our run. They played a lot of 2 deep, and that gave us creases. Interesting to see when Georgia Tech gets the ball back, if Bud Foster will make some adjustments. The Hokies the entire season so far have only allowed 10 second-half points.
And that one wasn't their fault. That was the offense's fault.
Yeah, but it goes up on the board.
I know.
Doesn't say anything up there about whose fault.
That's right.
31-13, and now they take over at the 35 after the kick out of bounds. And Philip Wheeler is running around saying, guys, let's get in the right spots. Both wide receivers out here to the near side, and the throw quickly out to Harper, and he almost broke it. Jahi Ward-Daniels gets him by the ankles, but a 14-yard pass play.
The strength of Virginia Tech is in those wide receivers, getting the ball out to them and let them run.
Remember, I talked about 2 years ago on a Thursday night in Atlanta in 2004, Virginia Tech rallied to beat Georgia Tech 34-20. Brian Randall hit Eddie Royal on an 80-yard touchdown pass. Josh Morgan caught another one. Roland Miner had a couple interceptions, and they were way down. That was the second biggest comeback for a win in the Frank Beamer regime here, which has been 20 years. And I think this one right now down 18. They got a big hole to dig out of.
I'm sure he mentioned that at halftime too. This is a challenge for us. It's not one of those games where we're out in front like the first 4 games we played Cupcakes. Cupcake season is over. The shop is closed. Now we're into the conference and we're playing some tough teams. Let's see if we can come from behind.
The bakery ain't open anymore.
That's right.
Second down and 9 at midfield. Look out from behind, and down goes the ball again. Swatted out of there. Who's got it? Another fumble, and it's Georgia Tech's ball again. Coming out of the pile with it, Adam Oliver, the defensive end.
You know that both times on these hits are now coming from the blind side, the back side of Glennon, and he's not seeing anything. This time he's really holding the ball. Here's a fake, and he's holding the ball. Watch, 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 watch. He's not. You don't have that much time, son. You've got to get it out of there.
It was K. Michael Hall, I think. 35.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Yeah.
And Adam Oliver recovered it.
I tell you what,
Great work by the Tech defense.
It's Tenuta's defense that's setting up the offense, making things happen. This is a very aggressive blitzing defense for Georgia Tech.
Reggie Ball now with the offense. Virginia Tech's going to blitz. End around coming. Flea flicker. Reggie doesn't have time to do anything with it. Way back at the 40-yard line.
They outsmarted themselves there.
You know what, Grayson? There are 2 plays I hate at midfield. One is a reverse because it gets you in trouble, and 2 is all this clowning around. Too many guys are touching the ball. You're doing things with ball. You're doing things on the outside. You're doing things inside. Just go ahead and line up and play these guys.
John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. His swarming Yellow Jackets have given the ball to the offense twice here in the last couple of minutes of the early stanza, the third quarter.
It's like he was saying, I get them good field position and they lose it.
And they lost 15 yards, and now there's a timeout taken. Reggie Ball takes a timeout with 11:06 remaining. Georgia Tech's got the lead in the ball, but they got a big 2nd and long when we come back.
You're watching ESPN on ABC. ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Lincoln, Reach Higher. Allstate, are you in good hands? And Singular, raising the bar.
The War Memorial Corps Pillars, tribute from alumni and friends to the sons of Virginia Tech who made the ultimate sacrifice in our nation's wars. Calvin Johnson up there, 2nd down and 25. Reggie Ball's going to run with it, trying to keep his balance, and he goes down at about the 45-yard line. Vince Hall and Xavier Adibi putting the pressure on Reggie Ball. So now it's going to be a 3rd down and long situation. Remember, this Georgia Tech drive actually started at the Virginia Tech 40-yard line after the forced fumble by K. Michael Hall, and Adam Oliver is the guy that covered it. But Georgia Tech tried a flea flicker. They went the wrong direction, and they're way back there on a 3rd down and a long 25. There's no such thing as a short 25.
There's no play for a long 25 either, or a short one.
Well, number 21, if he gets single coverage, I'd give it a heave down there and see what happens.
He's converted on 3 3rd down situations today, Calvin.
Toss to Tashard Choice, trying to take it wide the other way, and he only got a couple yards before he's tagged out of bounds by Victor Harris. So that'll bring out the Georgia Tech punting unit.
I think this is the 2nd time they've punted today.
It is. Durant Brooks got a pretty heavy rush last time, and we kind of thought when we had the timeout and we looked back at it and we replayed it for you coming out of the break that had the inside rush been a little more distinctive, they might have gotten to it.
The Hokies need a momentum changer, and a block right here could do that.
Brooks to punt, and he got it out of there. Eddie Royal clearing everybody out of the way. Boy, this is going to be a great kick down to the 2-yard line. Can't do it any better than that. The snapper, Brett White's a guy that got down to cover it after a 51-yard punt and roll. So Georgia Tech, the swarming Yellow Jackets, they've been a busy hive here just in the third quarter, I'll tell you that much. Coming all day long and forcing pressure on the Virginia Tech quarterback. That was Wheeler. Here comes Wheeler again. There goes the ball. There goes Gary Guyton for a touchdown. Here comes K. Michael Hall. That one didn't cause any damage, but the field position certainly did, because now with the punt, they're way down at the 3-yard line.
It caused a little damage in the brain there of Sean Glennon. The next time he drops back to pass, he's going to have a little happy feet.
Here he comes to throw and completes it out. Form tackle at about the 8-yard line. Jesse Allen dropped by Gary Guyton, the guy that we just showed you on the fumble recovery. Jesse Allen, the fullback, making the play. Georgia Tech defense is a good one, and they have been pretty much several years in a row under John Tenuta. They came in ranked 18th in the country, 3rd in the ACC, allowing about 249 yards a game. They were number 3 in the conference against the rush. And really, neither team has established a ground game. It's kind of because of the way the game has gone. Virginia Tech's got to throw. Georgia Tech threw early, but had big plays, so they didn't have to run. Lennon throws it out incomplete, trying to get it out to Sam Wheeler, his tight end. And that's incomplete. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Well, Brad, John Tenuta was telling us he thought the Virginia game was the game where his defense really got off the hump. You know, he lost 6 players, but they only allowed 160 yards total to the Cavaliers. Tenuta said there were really only 3 or 4 players that didn't work. Before this game, the Jackets had just allowed 47 points total in 4 games. The last time they were that solid was the 1990 season. That was when they won the championship. But when you put the numbers up against each other, that 90 team is a little bit more impressive, but still quite a bit of progress from the beginning of the season for the Jackets defense.
And flag down on Virginia Tech. Illegal substitution.
A lot of guys in a huddle, man.
Too many.
There's no foul. The head coach called a timeout prior to the breaking of 12 players.
All right, so it cost him a timeout, but it saved him a penalty. And they still got a big 3rd down. 9:09 remaining. Bonnie was talking about the championship team, Georgia Tech, back in 1990. Who am I? I was the starting quarterback in 90 when they won a share of the national title. The answer, there he goes. He was the first of a long line, including Joe Hamilton and those guys, but that's Sean Jones. 16 of 23, 277 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Jackets finished 11-0-1 and number 1 in the UPI poll. Colorado was the other team on the other side. Oh, you want to do a little trivia over there?
I wanted to ask the man over here if he knew that.
Colorado.
Yeah. Well.
All right, there were co-champions in 1991. Who were they?
I don't care. I really don't. It's 2006, isn't it? I don't care about 91.
It's just chitter chatter, you know. It's just.
Yeah, I know, but don't ask me something about 91. I don't even know where I was in 91.
He doesn't know where he was last night. So I mean,
after the first half, I was. I was.
You were in the right end zone.
Thank you very much.
9:09 remaining in the third quarter. 31-13. Now 3rd down and 5. Brandon Orr, the single setback. Got an extra tight end in there on a wing. That's Sam Wheeler. And as Bob said, Sean Glennon's feet are getting happier all the time with this defense coming after him. Quick drop. Wobbler out there, almost intercepted. Somebody got a hand on that. And it's 4th and 5. And now the punter is going to have kind of a short field. Michael Johnson, I think, is the guy that got a hand on the ball.
Glennon's got good news and bad news. The good news is that his receivers, if he can get them the ball, they got the big plays out there. They're going to make some yardage for him. The bad news is he's got to drop back to pass and allow that rush from Georgia Tech to develop.
Schmidt deep in his own end zone, has not had a good punting day. This is a better one. Andrew Smith's going to have good field position, though. Takes it on the run at the 48, sidesteps 1 or 2, and then gets planted. But Georgia Tech's going to have great field position at the 42-yard line. Let's take a look at our Best Buy defensive playbook, Bob.
This goes back. Watch the linebacker. That's Guyton, number 58. He's going to blitz up inside here. Then on the outside, Wheeler is going to be free because the back in the backfield is going to pick up 58, the inside linebacker. But anytime you get from a blind side shot like that, Wheeler knocks it out, and Guyton picks it up and runs it in. That's a defensive touchdown. Boy, does that mean something to the offense and to the momentum of the ball club.
Reggie Ball has a look at the Hokie defense. First down at the 42-yard line. Second time they've started in Tech territory, and Rashawn Grant got planted on that little shovel pass by Nolan Burchett, the defensive captain, the senior out of Richmond, Virginia.
Boy, he played that well.
He played it well. You know, here's the guy waiting on a toss, and he's waiting on the guy that's going to get it, Grant, just sitting there, and all of a sudden you run right into him. He gets the toss, and he gets killed.
I know Virginia Tech's only given up 92 yards on the ground per game, but you wonder why Georgia Tech doesn't try, especially when they've had it on that end of the field, to run the ball a little bit, use some clock. You've got an 18-point lead. They're still in the shotgun, but Tashard Choice will run it. And he got maybe to the 40, and a flag flies in late.
You know, Brad, I agree with you running the ball, but don't try a lot of trick stuff against this team. First of all, Virginia Tech, they're very fast, and they're very heady defense. So just if you're going to line up and try to beat them, you're bigger than they are, go at them.
Well, they got a holding call here now, so much like the last time when they tried the flea flicker and ended up losing 15, they're going to be backed up back near midfield again as we get the official word from Tom McCreesh, our referee.
Holding. 68 of the offense. 10 yards from the end of the run. Be second down.
Mansfield Rado is a converted defensive lineman. He's been a heck of a player for Georgia Tech. They're asking a lot of this kid. He played defense up to this year, and now they move him over there. And, you know, maybe a future, if he can play at the next level, might be at guard. But tackle, you know, when you haven't played the spot.
He was a 3-year starter at defensive tackle, started 32 games. Now he starts his 5th game at right tackle for Georgia Tech. But you're right. He probably has a better future in the NFL at offensive line than defensive line.
Not if he holds.
Reggie Ball keeps it on the ground. Choice. Tashard goes back into Virginia Tech territory at about the 47-yard line. It'll bring up third down and still a long one. About 15 more to go. Clock winds its way under the 7.5-minute mark. Georgia Tech had the lead at halftime. Virginia Tech came out and gave up the football on a turnover twice. The second time it didn't cost him. The first time it cost him automatically on the Gary Guyton return for a score. That's where we are since halftime. 31-13. 3rd and 15 for Georgia Tech. Extra receivers, Greg Smith. Choice will go out wide. And then Johnson and Johnson part of the crew. And it's Calvin Johnson in the slot on the right-hand side. Reggie Ball trying to find some room to run. I'm not going to find any. He's planted again. Another loss of a couple. Xavier Adibi, the outside linebacker, and a good one out of Hampton, Virginia, made the stop.
We are seeing some outstanding linebacker play today on both sides of Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. These linebackers are fast, and they can cover some ground.
Adibi 4 tackles today. Last year he had an interception return for a touchdown off a Reggie Ball throw.
Yes, he did. He may have reminded him of that too. You know, hey, will you throw me one this year,
That's
Reggie?
right.
You know, come on.
Eddie Royal stands at about the 10. Brooks dropped his last one with a punt and roll at the 2-yard line. They coming after him, and he got rid of it. Got it out of there. And again, it's going to take a great roll and out of bounds inside the 5 on the other side.
Talk about special teams.
Boy. And Frank Beamer knows it. He's going, Georgia Tech's punter is doing a heck of a job. Buried in a hole again, the Virginia Tech offense, and buried on the scoreboard by 18 right now here in the 3rd.
Birdwood, you're on the goalpost truck.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
This is ESPN on ABC, brought to you by Best Buy from Blacksburg, Virginia, and Lane Stadium. The 11th ranked Hokies trailing the number 24 Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. And kind of an ominous looking sky while we've had beautiful blue sky all day. I don't know if it's going to rain on the Hokies parade, but they're starting for the 2nd straight time inside their own 5-yard line. And that's not good. Trailing 31-13 from the 4. Glennon in his own end zone. Plenty of time, and now running out of it. And finally fires deep on the sideline and throws it away.
There's a flag on this play.
There is a flag at the line of scrimmage. Boy, he had all day in the end zone, and then even more time once he rolled out, but couldn't find anybody open. So Georgia Tech secondary did a pretty good job. And ineligible receiver downfield, that just took too long. So they're going to go probably decline that penalty because they're at the 5 anyway. I don't know, maybe Georgia Tech will accept it. We'll find out in a minute. 5:36, and coach is telling us decline the penalty, take the down, leave them at the 5, and let's play some ball. It's the most anticipated season premiere of the year, fellas. Survival was just the beginning. The hit series that's become a national phenomenon is back. Find yourself Lost. Brand new season Wednesday, 9, 8 Central, followed by the series premiere of The 9. I know where Grease and I'll be on Wednesday in our respective abodes. We'll be watching Lost.
I caught up with that 2-hour thing the other night.
That's good. That's good. You needed to be watching that all along.
It was really good because in one evening in 2 hours you learned everything that happened.
Up the middle is Orr, and only to about the 5. Darryl Richard made the stop defensively. Just under 5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and Georgia Tech on the road here in front of a hostile crowd. This place was completely rocking at the beginning of the game, but Georgia Tech went 80 yards in 5 plays. First snap of the game, Reggie Ball hooked up with James Johnson on a long pass play that quieted people. Then he threw the fade in the corner to Calvin Johnson to cap the march, the touchdown, and now Georgia Tech's defense is taken over in the second half, led by Gary Guyton's fumble return of 38 yards, and that's where we stand. 31-13. Sean Glennon now in the shotgun from his own end zone. Going to throw deep down the left sideline, and it's broken up over there. Nice play on the ball by Jamal Lewis defensively for Georgia Tech. So the second straight punt coming up out of the Virginia Tech end zone.
On that play there, it's the first time I've seen Virginia Tech do it. They pulled a lineman out to block a linebacker. They said, we're not going to wait on the back blocking him anymore. We're going to give you some help.
Nick Schmidt again backed up near his own end line. There he is, a big 276-pound punter.
276, did you say?
Yeah.
Lose about 80 to be able to kick it further.
This one, nice high spiral, hangs up there. Andrew Smith takes it at the 48. Smith trying to reverse his field. If he picks up a blocker, he might have something working. He's still got a nice return to about the 37-yard line. 4:34 remaining in the third quarter. About time for a Sports Center update in New York. Here's Matt.
Brad, Alabama and Florida slugging it out in the swamp. Chris Leak to Andre Caldwell. Watch closely at the goal line to see if he held on. He lost it, but on review, they ruled it a touchdown, and the Gators go ahead. They lead it 14-10.
Of course, last year, Alabama routed Florida, and they're looking for a little payback this week. Doing a good job for the Gators. Here, Georgia Tech with a lead. And Tashard Choice straight up the middle. Big opening that time. Nice blocking by Tuminello and McManus and company. And he knocked through there for about 9 yards. Vince Hall made the stop.
It's interesting, the momentum of this game. The game started in the first half. Georgia Tech came out. They had the momentum the entire first quarter. And then it's kind of shifted over to Virginia Tech. Coming out the second half, it's the Georgia Tech defense that set the momentum, and now Georgia Tech has had the momentum. Their field position in all their possessions has been in Virginia Tech territory.
3 straight times. Toss to Choice to Shard up the middle. Nice run down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Boy, he's picking up some chunks now. 15 yards there.
Well, if you look at the last 2 plays, they're up the middle.
Monday Night Football. Look at some good plays from Donovan McNabb and Brett Favre. They'll hook up on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD and in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Monday Night Football. Packers and Eagles. Monday Night Football on ESPN. Sorry, Pollock.
They've had, no, that's okay. They had 2 runs, and they both went right up the middle. So what they're doing now, they're just blocking everybody at the point of attack. They're not trying to outrun Virginia Tech's defense. They're running at them.
Reggie Ball's going to throw the ball out to Calvin Johnson, and it's low and incomplete. He just wanted to get it out to him and see if he could do something with it himself at the 10-yard line, but he didn't get enough on the ball. So Georgia Tech with a 2nd down and 10 at the 13-yard line. Packed house, and they're a little bit in shock here. 66,000 plus. As Georgia Tech on the road took command of this ball game early, led 21-0 in the first quarter. Virginia Tech battled back. Georgia Tech then got a touchdown here in the 3rd from its defense, and that's the 18-point lead we have at this point. Reggie Ball, quick throw to James Johnson the other way. And to about the 10-yard line, where it's going to be 3rd down. They need to get to about the 3 for a 1st down.
And what the Hokies need what the Yellow Jackets got, something from their defense.
Yep.
Knock the ball loose from the quarterback. They need a non-offensive score similar to what Georgia Tech did to them.
It's almost a carbon copy of a year ago, only it's the other way around.
Yes.
It's a nickname series for Greece. Hokies, the Yellow Jackets.
And the Jackets.
Yep.
Hey, I like that. Hokie Jacket.
It's been hard not to just say Tech all day long for either one of these teams. Trust me. This is Georgia Tech with a 3rd and 7 at the 10. Choice found an opening, dropped the ball, and then scooped it for a touchdown. Tashard Choice lost it at about the 1 as he was dragging a would-be tackler, and he took it on the hop, and he scored for the 2nd time today.
And the 3rd run that they've had up the middle. I mean, in between the tackles. And it's the shortest distance. Watch these guys. All you have to do is block the one guy at the point of attack, and then you're in the open.
What a perfect hop. That's the kind of way that's been going for Georgia Tech today.
It's your day when the ball bounces right up to you at the goal line.
So Tashard Choice, that was his drive almost exclusively. Travis Bell for the point after, and the kick is up, and it's good. And now Virginia Tech is finding out what they're made of, or they're going to find out, because they are trailing 38-13. 36-yard drive in 5 plays. Bonnie?
Brad, this is really Tashard Choice's first opportunity to start for Georgia Tech since transferring there from Oklahoma 2 years ago. He says, sure, I still think about the prospect of being in the backfield with Adrian Peterson, but at the time, his mom suffered a leg injury. She couldn't walk. She wasn't able to get on a plane to visit me, and it's not a decision I would ever regret. He still talks to the guys at Oklahoma all the time. I said, by chance, have you talked to Peterson since the Oregon fiasco? He said, oh, no. I got to give him a little time to calm down after that one.
Well, he's putting on a show himself today that Adrian would be proud of, and instead of a 28, it's a 22 here. They call him Deuce, and he's had quite a day. Look at that big smile. 2 touchdowns, including the one from 10 yards out just moments ago. Remember last season against Georgia Tech, it was Virginia Tech with 3 non-offensive touchdowns. We showed you the blocked field goal earlier. We showed you the interception returned by Chris Ellis, and there was an interception return also by Adibi. Now today, Georgia Tech's done almost the same thing. They blocked a punt. They ran a fumble back for a touchdown. So they've got Beamer ball working in reverse, as Bob said earlier.
In your face.
Yep.
Special teams have been dominating. The punter has been outstanding.
He really has. Here's the kickoff. This one's returnable from a yard deep. Out across the 20. Clowney maybe got to the 24. That's about it. 2:49 remaining in the 3rd. A reminder for you, time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental Report featuring scores and highlights. John, Craig, and Doug will have all those in New York. They'll bring you up to date on all the surprises and maybe some that weren't so surprising. This one, I would imagine most of the country is thinking of as a surprise. There's Georgia Tech special teams coach. He's done a heck of a job with this crew getting them ready. That's Charles Kelly. Charlie does a good job.
Well, when your special teams are doing well, you walk up along the sideline right in the front.
Yeah,
and
when you're doing bad, you go way out there.
Go up behind the bench, kind of hide a little bit.
Take your hat off.
Right. Put some sunglasses on and a big hat. Glennon trying to find a safety valve. And nice play defensively by Darryl Robertson, the defensive end, rangy guy who made the stop. Sam Wheeler.
I'm sorry, but let me ask. I want to ask Bob something. You're in a game and you've got 3 freshman tight ends, and you know you need these guys. There were a couple of times now. Boom, we know, dropped 2. One would have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really think about going to these guys when they're not? First of all, they're not catching the ball, and most of the time they don't know where they're going.
Why do you ask me a question about when my team's behind 38-13 on offense?
New running back in.
You've been in that position before.
Never against Buffalo.
Lon Lewis in at the tailback spot. Elin Lewis. Guy that missed most of the spring coming off a knee injury. Had a meniscus problem and had the ACL trimmed a little bit. Big guy because he's compact. 5'8", 238. Let's see if he got the first down. Looks to be just a little bit short. Nope, maybe not. He got it by just the nose of the football. So first down for Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech has started deep in their own territory this second half. They've started at their own 20, their 30, their own 3, and this time they started at 24. Whereas Georgia Tech has started at good field position in the Hokies side of the field.
Hokies' average starting field position has been the 17-yard line. Right now they're first down at the 34.
So he's looking over, see what they want him to check to with this blitz.
Here comes a blitz. Wheeler comes up the middle and throws to Eddie Royal, complete at the 38 and down across the 40. Nice job by Royal to hold on. Took a pretty good hit there and got near the 41-yard line. You know, I remember one of the things that Sean was telling us when we were meeting with him yesterday. He said, you know, early in the starts, I wasn't used to things and how fast it was, and he said I would see the rush. And I know you've always told me if you can see the rush, you're dead in the water right now. You got to just ignore them and look where you're going.
Well, by seeing the rush means you're looking at the defensive guys that are coming in.
Here they come again. And he might get a first down out of the scramble, though.
By not seeing the rush, I mean you're looking past the lineman and downfield. You got to trust your line, your offensive line, to pick up everybody. And if you see an opposite color jersey coming at you in your peripheral vision, you're in trouble.
Well, when he talked to us, Sean, he was saying that, you know, one of the mistakes that I do make, as you were talking about, is that I have a tendency to look up at the rush instead of looking at where the guys are.
And when he's looked up at the rush today, he's looked up at K. Michael Hall and Philip Wheeler and company. And they're coming after him again, but he's going to go throw deep down for Harper and broken up by Kenny Scott.
That's the matchup they want. Single coverage, 50 yards down the field, and the receivers just got to beat the defensive back, and that time Scott won.
Kenny Scott is the best back there for the Georgia Tech secondary. That was a suspect area because of inexperience. They lost DeJuan Landry and some of those other guys. Chris Reese, who played some safety and some linebacker. Kenny Scott's the best one they got back there, senior out of Daytona Beach.
Did you see what he did, though, Brad? What he did is before they were trying to catch the ball and intercept it. This time Kenny Scott went up with one hand and knocked it away.
Yep. Second down and 10 might be the final play of the quarter. Little slip screen out here to Hyman, and he's got a first down. And that will bring the third quarter to a close. Pick up a 13. Virginia Tech moving it into Georgia Tech territory. Still plenty of time. They got a quarter to go, but they're 25 points down. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back to Blacksburg. College football lives here.
And Virginia Tech starts the fourth quarter with a first down at the Georgia Tech 43-yard line, but they trail by 25 points. Sean Glennon's had a tough day against a tough Georgia Tech defense. Looking to throw here, rolling. And now tries to get what he can and gets to about the 40-yard line. It'll bring up second down and long. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein on the sideline. It would take the comeback of the Beamer era for them to not avoid an upset here at home. Do they have it in them?
You know, this is a surprise. You know, I thought it would be a close game. I thought Virginia Tech would be tough to score on, and they haven't been. I'm impressed with Georgia Tech's offense.
I'm impressed with Georgia Tech's defense along with it. Yeah. But I think that if Virginia Tech, they don't score a touchdown on this drive, it's all over.
Well, fourth quarter's got a lot to go. They get it out and they complete it to Sam Wheeler, the tight end, on a little wheel route, if you will. And Sean Glennon's got to pick himself up again. And Calvin Johnson on the sideline trying to keep that injured thigh warm as he rides the bike with a big smile. 2 touchdowns for him in the first quarter of this game when Georgia Tech put 21 on the board. And again, Virginia Tech only gave up 27 points in a first quarter all of last year, and they gave up 3 touchdowns to Georgia Tech in this ball game. Third down and a yard. And it's going to be a first down run for Lewis. K. Michael Hall makes the stop. Virginia Tech keeps its drive alive, and we drive to New York with Matt Weiner. Matt?
All right, Brad, let's get a singular All-America Player of the Week update. Jamarcus Russell was just about perfect for LSU in the big win over Mississippi State. A career-high 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was 18 of 20 on the day. If you want to cast yours, text VOTE to 87654 on your singular wireless phone.
That's pretty good, Jamarcus. I think that's a perfect quarterback rating when you only miss 2 and you throw 3 touchdowns. Completion out to David Clowney.
When you talk about solid and deep at quarterback situations, LSU. Oh, yeah. They got that young kid, Perilou.
And we saw Matt Flynn in the Peach Bowl last year.
Oh, boy.
They're thick there. It's a good problem to have.
Very nice.
Virginia Tech, this young guy, doing what he can. The sophomore out of Centerville, Virginia. Big kid, 6'4", 221. Back to throw again. And this one's batted in the air at the line of scrimmage. Darryl Richard, the big guy they call the doctor because it's DR for his initials. So John Tenuta calls him the doctor or the professor because he's been on the academic all-ACC honor roll every quarter that he's been at Georgia Tech.
And that's a defensive lineman.
Yep.
Just made a house call.
He did. Third down.
Normally you'd think of defensive linemen. They ain't going to be right up there in your academic profiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the quarterbacks would be, I suppose.
Well, that's well,
generally speaking.
I didn't say that, but I'm not disagreeing.
Here comes Lewis. He's got a first down. He's inside the Georgia Tech 20 and down to the 16-yard line. Like Paul said, Virginia Tech gets a touchdown here. There's still a lot of time left in the ballgame.
But they need a touchdown. They just cannot settle for a field goal. And I think that man knows it.
And they're going without a huddle or trying to, and that's a very difficult thing to do with a young quarterback, too.
Well, you know, you're talking about young quarterbacks and all the quarterbacks at LSU. There's this kid right here, Glennon. He's a sophomore. He's going to be a pretty good one.
Yep.
Please reset the game clock to 12:43. 1-2-4-3.
Now they're really trying to get Virginia Tech in the game. They're giving them extra time.
If you're just joining us, Tom McCreasy, our referee, was not counting out of order. 1-2-4-3. He didn't mean 1-2-3-4. He was just trying to get some extra seconds back on the clock. Glennon wide open. Nice spin move by Hyman. Hyman inside the 10, diving down, first and goal at about the 2-yard line. Boy, nice move he put on in the open field to get about 10 extra yards. And now Virginia Tech is knocking on the Georgia Tech door.
Brad, I'll tell you what, you talk about great concentration in hands. Hyman, it knows he's going to get whacked, and he catches this ball, and then he's got to move right now. Watch it, catch, move.
That's around Kenny Scott.
Boy, is that great coordination and, you know, eye contact with the ball.
That's what I'm talking about. The receivers for the Hokies, they have a bunch of them.
Play action. Oh, and he overshot an open tight end, Sam Wheeler. Too much on that one. And Sean's going, oof, I'd have pulled the string a little bit. I'd have had him.
Exactly right. He just needed to have a little touch on that ball. He didn't have to throw it quickly or hard, just a little touch.
And that was the thing. He rushed it just a little bit. 15th play of this drive. Second down and goal. There's Sean's numbers on the day. They're not that bad, but he's been hit and fumbled a couple of times. Now it's Lewis. Straight up the middle, meets Wheeler. And he's going to be short of the end zone. Wheeler and Aniabi are there defensively. So it is third down and goal. This is 2-down territory. We know that. So you got a couple of plays. Chan Gailey's well aware of that for his defensive front.
Lewis, number 38, is 5'8", 238
pounds.
Yeah, I think he's a little more than that.
Maybe.
I think he had a big breakfast.
Depends on what he had this morning. He's the tailback behind Carlton Weatherford. And here he comes. And there he goes. They don't signal touchdown. Now they give it to him. Touchdown. A late call from the far side, and Elon Lewis is in the end zone for Virginia Tech. 1-yard scoring plunge.
Georgia Tech comes across the line of scrimmage.
He's not in. I'm going to tell you right now, I'd review this thing because he is down, and that ball is in his right arm around his gut. It's not near his shoulder, and they review every play.
Chan Gailey might want to call a challenge here because he's got a big lead and it's the fourth quarter.
Play is under review.
You bet it is. This is not going to be a touchdown.
And again, we'll give you every angle we have. Here's Lewis, the hit coming up from Wheeler.
There's the line judge right there. He's looking right at it.
Yeah, but he doesn't even make the call until he runs all the way in to where the ball is.
It looks like the closest thing Lewis has to being in the end zone is his head.
That's right.
That doesn't even touch the line, or barely does.
See, the ball's not even up yet. And then finally, when the line judge
there you go.
in,
Did you see Adam Oliver pointing at the 2-inch line? That was a good
I
one.
wonder if they have any angles from the other side, because all those shots that we saw were just from here. I wonder if we have an angle from the other side.
Well, they've already made a decision, and this is an official's review.
After review, video evidence confirms the call in the field. Touchdown.
No, it doesn't.
They didn't have enough to reverse it. I'm telling you. I mean, it looked like he may not have gotten in, but they didn't have enough to reverse it.
Have you noticed how good these guys get along, the replay officials and the outfield officials? So it's call it a 1-yard touchdown. At least I don't agree with you two all the time.
The thing I like is that they don't take long to do it.
That's true. It's a touchdown, 38-20. So the lead has been cut to 18. 76-yard march in 6:22. Virginia Tech still got life at home.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Frank Beamer's Hokies are down 38-20 to the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech with 11:40 to go. Guys, is there always a line where it's too early to try an onside kick? Georgia Tech certainly isn't expecting one. I mean, it's a three-score game for Virginia Tech to get back in the ballgame. Yeah, they'll handle it. Chris Dunlap from the goal line. Dunlap at about the 22, got planted by Cam Martin. Virginia Tech, their last 8 drives in this ball game, including since halftime. There's the halftime cutoff. Nice job, Bob. That's a really straight line they drew. Fumble, punt, and finally a touchdown.
Yeah, and look at this. 16 plays it took.
Yeah, and it took them 6.5 minutes almost.
The next drives, the next time they get the ball, they cannot take that much time.
Calvin Johnson has not, Grace, caught a pass in his second half, and he was 5 for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first.
As long as their defense keeps scoring, they don't need Calvin.
They need Tashard Choice, and here he comes. He's had a heck of a game. Out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, a pickup of 5, and another update from Matt Weiner, New York. Matt.
Brad, we've got a good one in College Station, Texas Tech and Texas A&M. 4 different lead changes in this game, and that's Chris Alexander punching it through for the Aggies to tie it at 24. 7 minutes and change left to go.
That's pretty big rivalry between those two now in the Big 12, getting better every year.
Now, when you're asking about Virginia Tech, can they come back in the ball game? They scored the touchdown. Now they have to shut them down right now.
Choice. Tashard has got 4 or 5 more yards. About a 4-yard pickup. Calvin Johnson, there he is, and let's check in with Bonnie.
Johnson's 2 touchdowns helped the Yellow Jackets get going early in this game. If you take a look at his second one, this is a 53-yarder and such a great example of the type of breakaway speed that Calvin Johnson has. This is what Chan Gailey loves about his receiver. He said he is the biggest and fastest wideout I have ever coached, and he has the best eye-hand coordination of any guy I've seen, and that includes all those guys he saw in the NFL.
Pretty high praise. 3rd down and 1. Reggie will try to do it himself. Reggie Ball, did he get enough? He's getting help from his guys in the backfield hitting him in the face. Michael Matthews, the tight end, just kind of gave Reggie one in the chops. Said, we're taking this one for the team. And they unpile. We have not seen the spot yet. And down in all of that, it looks like a Georgia Tech first down.
That sure does.
They got to get it beyond the 32-yard line.
They're going to bring the chains out to have a look. So an important measurement because we're down to 9:43 and Georgia Tech gets first down. There should be a couple more minutes they can burn off no matter what happens. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein with you from Lane Stadium. It is a first down Georgia Tech. They have an 18-point lead. Virginia Tech needs 3 scores in 9:43 or their September record, which has been stunning in recent years under Frank Beamer, is going to suffer an L here on September 30th, the last day of the month.
Brad, we were talking to Coach Beamer the other day when we were asking about Calvin Johnson. He said, yeah, he's big and he's strong. He's got great hand-eye coordination. He can catch the ball. He can go up and out-jump anybody. And then he paused for a second, and Bonnie asked him something. He said, did I say he was fast also?
I forgot that part.
Yeah. Oh, he's fast, too.
Georgia Tech will be content, you would assume, to keep it on the ground with this first down. The toss to Choice, and Tashard Choice out to the 34-yard line. 4 straight runs for Georgia Tech. They'll be running and passing tonight. Leading Heisman candidate Troy Smith and the Buckeyes going into Iowa City. That is a tough spot. They'll take on Drew Tate and the Hawkeyes. Could be Ohio State's toughest road game of the year. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. 8 o'clock tonight, 5 Pacific on ABC. This and all Saturday night games available in high definition on ABC HD. There's Tashard Choice's numbers. One of his best days as a Yellow Jacket. And we're down to 8:40. As I said, with every first down, Burns a couple more minutes. Second down and 8. Would Georgia Tech choose to put one up here in a long yardage situation on second down? Nope. Choice cuts outside and cuts back across the 40. Nice run, short of the first down by about a yard. Boy, he showed me something so far today, Tashard Choice.
Well, they haven't needed him to score points, but they need him to run out the clock, and that's exactly what he's doing.
You know, his first year at Oklahoma, we talked about him backing up Adrian Peterson. He had exactly 100 yards that season before he transferred. Today, he's got his second career 100-yard game for Georgia Tech.
Boy, isn't it nice to have a back when you need someone to depend on? He shows up for you. I mean, because he was pretty much out of the picture the entire first half until that one run that he made.
Most of the ground game was done by Reggie Ball on quarterback draws and quarterback keepers. 4 minutes so far in this drive. Time is of the essence. Virginia Tech needs to make a play on defense.
They got 9 guys up the line of scrimmage.
Going to throw, and Calvin Johnson's got the catch on a perfect toss. On 3rd and a yard, they run the slant, and Reggie Ball just drills it to number 21.
This is perfect timing. They got 10 guys at the line of scrimmage. Big Calvin, 6'5", 235 pounds, gets inside of the smaller cornerback Harris and just makes the play.
You see how he blocked him out with his body and then just extended his arms? There's no chance for Harris.
This is good stuff by an offensive team, holding the ball when you need to hold it. You don't need to score, you need to make first downs. I'm impressed with Chan Gailey and his group.
Georgia Tech.
They came in here and did a nice job, and they're doing very impressive.
They're 7 minutes away from by far their biggest win of the year.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Cadillac, Aflac, ask about it at work, and Verizon Wireless.
That's Drill Field, a tree planted around the drill field for every graduating class. The Corps Cadets continues to practice drills on the field, and it's a nice place to hang out, play Frisbee, throw the football around here on the campus. Georgia Tech folks might not have the best seats, but they got the best of the Hokies so far with 7:02 remaining in the ball game. Georgia Tech appears that they're going to go to 4-1 into the head of the class in the Coastal Division of the Atlantic Coast Conference. If they keep playing like this, they might go to Jacksonville in the ACC championship game. We got a lot of football left, and a lot of teams will have their say, but right now Georgia Tech, who came out of the blocks with 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and they really have never stalled with the exception of a couple of balls that Reggie Ball threw that he'd like to have back that were interceptions, but only one of those, neither one of those turned into a touchdown.
Well, and one of them shouldn't have been an interception.
The 25-second clock did not start. We'll reset, start it again.
For the most part, Reggie Ball has had an outstanding day.
Yep.
He came out on fire. Then he had a little bit of a down spot when he couldn't get the ball over, had it intercepted. Threw another interception that Calvin Johnson didn't help him with. In the second half, he's come out and he's played flawlessly.
At the 44, 1st and 10, Rashawn Grant. And Grant puts his head down and gets inside the 40, picked up 5 yards to the 39. In the ACC today, it was Virginia with a shutout of Duke, 37-0. Wake Forest is 5-0. Louisiana Tech, Clemson play tonight. Boston College beat Maine, and Miami leading Houston in the first quarter down at the Orange Bowl. We were talking about Reggie Ball, and I wanted to say something. Marcus, his little brother, who's not so little, was really playing good at linebacker for Florida State until he tore his knee up last week, and we just wanted to wish him the best in his rehab. He's going to be a good player.
Here, here. And the one thing about Reggie Ball, the nice part about it is when you have running backs now that you can hand the ball to, that takes all that pressure off of Reggie Ball running the ball and have to run the ball, and that beating that it saves him.
Here's the 8th play of the drive. It's Rashawn Grant again. He got back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Carlton Powell made the hit defensively for Virginia Tech. Nice combination, Rashawn Grant and Tashard Choice. Tashard's over 100 today, so now Rashawn's getting some duty. And the clock winds its way under the 6-minute mark.
Big wins on the road is nothing new for Chan Gailey. In his first 4 years, he had 6 wins against ranked opponents, and 5 of them were on the road. And remember last year?
Auburn.
At Auburn,
Yep.
at Miami, and now at Virginia Tech.
This one might be the sweetest of all of those, because remember, their only loss of the season was 14-10 to Notre Dame, and they led Notre Dame into the 4th quarter of the ball game. Rashawn Grant, nothing much there. It's going to be 4th down. But when you go back to that opening Saturday night game on ABC, 14-10 Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame goes on, and they're everybody's hot choice until Michigan pounded them. Now they beat Purdue today, and they look to be back in gear. Now you look at this Georgia Tech team, and you go, maybe they're pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe Virginia Tech is not as good as everybody thought, and I think Georgia Tech is better than everybody thought.
5:25 left here in Blacksburg.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Calvin Johnson was in our IBM Star Watch, has 115 yards, but his teammates are helping him out today a lot more than usual, including Tashard Choice. Flag on the field coming out of commercial. This will be interesting.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 7 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. He'll stay 4th down.
Okay.
And if Frank Beamer came up with anything last Sunday or Monday on this punt rush,
Better do it now.
and the punt block, you're going to see it right here.
You're running out of time.
I'll tell you what's amazing is those 3 guys up front are all tight ends. They take a beating.
There you go. This is a great shot here.
Brooks, remember, dropped his last 2 punts inside the 5, and he got rid of this one again. This one is going to go into the end zone, but he did his job. He knew they were coming, and he did the quick 2-step, got it out of there. Our Pacific Life game summary with a little over 5 minutes left in the ball game. Calvin Johnson, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns again, much like he did against Virginia a week ago Thursday, including that 53-yarder. Philip Wheeler has been wheeling around in that Virginia Tech backfield. Gary Guyton took that fumble return for a touchdown. And Tashard Choice, a 100-yard day and a couple of touchdowns, including a perfect bounce to himself right there in the end zone. So Calvin and Tashard and the rest of the Georgia Tech offense having reason to smile. Remember, they got throttled up here last year, 51-7, when the wheels came off early, and it was almost the exact opposite here today.
It's been a well-rounded Georgia Tech team. Offense has done it, defense has done it, special teams has really played better than the Hokies.
And no huddle here for Sean Glennon. They need points, and they need them fast. Georgia Tech still bringing the heat. Pass complete. Looks like it's going to be a first down out at about the 32-yard line to Josh Hyman. Time running out.
See, that clock doesn't start until that umpire gets out of there, and that, you know, just as soon as he steps out, bang, like that, snap the ball.
Here comes Wheeler again. Glennon got rid of it and in and out of the hands of David Clowney. Let's get another update. Nope, we're going to keep it right here. Reminder, though, for you, time permitting, you can stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental Report featuring scores and highlights. John and Craig and Doug will be in New York. Bring you up to date on everything that happened around the country today. Rice a winner over Army as you look at some of the scores being posted on the screen. And second down at 10. Here comes the pressure. K. Michael Hall with a hit. And they're going to say it was an incomplete pass this time. But Hall, who forced a fumble earlier, almost had another one. I want to say a shout out to all our troops overseas, and especially a big Virginia Tech fan who's in Ramadi, Iraq, Corporal Ryan Brinkmeyer of the Marine Corps over there. Ryan, we ran into your dad the other night. He wanted to tell you he loves you, and hey, I'm sorry your team's not playing better
we're
today.
sorry we were bringing you this news about Virginia Tech, but
Glennon going deep, and it is caught, almost intercepted, and caught for a first down out at the 48-yard line. David Clowney just took that away from Jamal Lewis. I thought it was going to be picked off.
You talk about some great concentration. Clowney, that ball goes through. And he kept his eye on the ball the entire way and makes the catch.
And don't forget, he knew he was going to take a hit. He's the guy that had the appendectomy 9 days ago. You get up in midair going across the middle, you're going to get tagged. Glennon throwing wide side now. Completes it to Clowney again. He stiff arms Jamal Lewis and steps out of bounds about a yard short of the first down.
Georgia Tech defensively just playing loose, playing a deep zone, not letting anybody get behind them, force them to use time to move down the field.
But the pressure came earlier in the ball game, and it's been pressure all day. And John Tenuta's defense, and he admits to us, about 80% of the time, I got 5 guys coming. So they blitz on almost every down. They're coming with an extra guy here. Pump fake now going deep in the middle and incomplete. Either pass interference or holding in the Georgia Tech secondary. Josh Hyman was down there in the middle of the field.
Josh Hyman couldn't get away.
I think DJ Jones had him like tangled up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It is holding, not pass interference. I thought he had him all pretty much collared.
But you know, you really got to give this kid Clowney a lot of credit.
23 to the defense. 10 yards to the previous spot. First down.
Appendectomy 9 days ago. He's out here playing. Yeah. He's on a kickoff return team. He stepped in front of the one down when I was in the end zone. He stepped in front of Royal down there, took the ball on the kickoff return. I think he wanted to take a hit to see if, you know, if he's still going to feel good.
First down now at the 33. Glennon running for his life again and just dumps it incomplete. There was a tight end in the vicinity. And we'll get another update coming up from Matt in a minute. Right now, I'll remind you, a new series premiere of 9 Wednesday at 9 Central, right after the season premiere of Lost. See the show the critics are calling best new show on TV. Stars Tim Daly and Scott Wolf. 9 hostages bound together forever after a 52-hour hostage crisis. Sounds like McGuire and Greasy and I were held hostage, hooked together in this booth. But anyway, that's a new show after Lost on Wednesday night on ABC.
Offside, Georgia Tech.
Glennon free play and a nice throw. Complete out to David Clowney. And they'll take that play and decline the penalty, but we'll get an update on Florida from Matt. Let's check it out. Matt.
All right, Brad, here's a vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the day. Florida picked off Alabama 3 plays later. It's points. Chris Leak, Dallas Baker, 21 yards. 21-13 at the moment. To vote for your Pontiac game-changing performance, just log on to ESPN.com and type in keyword Pontiac.
Don't you love how everybody in Gainesville is all over Tim Tebow, and I'm sure he'll be a great player and all of that. I think it's Chris Leak's team.
It's just the nature of the business that everybody roots for the backup quarterback.
Virginia Tech did decline that penalty while we were away, so they got a first down. Here's the throw to the corner to Eddie Royal. He's got it. Touchdown. Perfect throw in the corner. 21-yard touchdown.
I think they have to go for 2 here. I really do. To get it to a 10-point game. And they won't.
Down to 12, 38-26, 3.5 minutes. Now we know. I asked you guys about 9 minutes ago when it's too early for an onside kick.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too early now.
I think you'll see it now.
So Pace in for the point after. Now they're reviewing the previous play. Looked like a great catch and a near perfect throw from Glennon to Royal. We'll get another look at it right here against Kenny Scott.
Cannon just went out behind the stands. I don't think they agree with the review.
Maybe shooting at the officials. Well, there's no doubt.
Yeah. The review official in the up in the press box just wanted to take a look, and he's got his look, and he's going to. They're coming out right now.
After review, video evidence rolling on the field, touchdown.
They just wanted to see it one time.
How many times you said that tonight? You keep counting? 5?
No, he hadn't.
Brandon Pace will come in for the point after an 80-yard drive in 9 plays. And the extra point's up and good with 3:31 remaining in the ball game. Crazier things have happened. I don't think you want to go anywhere right now. 11-point ball game with 3:31 left in Blacksburg.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
3:31 remaining in the ball game. Virginia Tech has just scored to cut the lead down to 11. The yellow line is where this onside kick will have to travel. Georgia Tech's got 2 tight ends on that side. Behind them, they've got Calvin Johnson and Pat Clark, and they go the other way instead. This is a free ball, but it is scooped up nicely by Chris Dunlap, who fielded it on one hop. So they went the other way instead of going where Georgia Tech had its all-hands team, and instead Georgia Tech will take over. When scoring 25 or more, they've only lost 16 of 135. It looks like that might change unless they come up with a huge defensive play here. They need a turnover.
The Hokies play 8 home games this year, only 4 away games, and one of those away games is Miami in November. They don't play Florida State.
Georgia Tech's offense huddles on the sideline. And they'll bring it out to the first down at the 27-yard line. Reggie Ball, this would be a sweet victory for Reggie, having lost to this team the last 2 years. Rashawn Grant, he gets hammered by Vince Hall. They got a Texas A&M Texas Tech update from Matt right now in New York.
And Brad, back and forth they have gone all afternoon. A&M took the lead with a field goal, so a 3-point game. Tech goes 80 yards at $127. Graham Harrell to Robert Johnson for the go-ahead touchdown. Robert Johnson giving the Aggies the blues. He's got 3 TDs on the afternoon.
That would be a big, big win for Texas Tech. A&M was undefeated going into that one. Clock working its way down to 2:40. Georgia Tech wants to use as much clock as possible. Grant.
That's a veteran quarterback, Reggie Ball, snapping that ball with 2 seconds left on the clock.
You know, I like the play calling, and there's one I didn't like in the game. I know you jumped all over me, Grease, but I didn't like it. But this one, I like these now where they get the backs a little bit to the outside, take off some time, run a little wider, but make sure you stay in bounds. But you know, don't necessarily run right up the middle.
Down nearing 2 minutes.
Ooh.
3rd down and 5. The remaining crowd, there's still a lot of them here, know that this is a play of the ball game for the Hokie defense. Play action. Reggie Ball wanted to run it. Now cuts back the other way, looking for some blockers. And he won't find enough. He got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Xavier Adibi made the stop.
They took timeout. Virginia Tech did.
And that's their last one.
That was a smart call, because they were just stacked in there for the run. Get Reggie outside. Maybe he can run it for a first down.
There's what Bob talked about. 6 wins over ranked opponents, 5 wins on the road. Next week, reminder, we're heading to the Texas State Fair, fellas. And what a scene that always is. 3:30 Eastern next week. Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns get together for the 102nd time in the Red River Shootout. Those schools will play for bragging rights. The matchups in the Cotton Bowl will be right in the middle of the fair. And I know we'll be eating some bad food, seeing some good football. Hope you join us next week at 3:30.
Paul, I know you've never been there, but I know you've eaten some bad food.
You talking to Paul?
I drank some good beer.
Now that we can talk about.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 1 of the offense.
Ooh.
15 yards from the line of scrimmage. It will be 4th down.
Now, that's not a smart play. Reggie must have said something because I didn't see any big mix-up over there. And Chan Gailey wants the side judge to give him an explanation as to what Reggie might have done. I think he was chatting with Xavier Adibi a little bit. And Chan's going, well, if we can get out of here and get back to Atlanta with an 11-point win, it won't matter. But remember now, Brooks is going to be kicking from near his own goal line.
Yeah.
And everybody in this place knows what the guys in the Chicago maroon and burnt orange can do on special teams.
And they made their reputation in situations like this.
Brooks just want to get this one out of there for Georgia Tech. Here they come. And he got a decent kick. Royal thinking about handling it. Now we'll let it go. But it's still excellent field position at the 42-yard line. And I think Coach Beamer is thinking, Eddie, you should have taken that thing on the hop and see what you can do. So now Sean Glennon, who threw a perfect touchdown pass to Royal the last time they had the ball, has 1:40, no timeouts remaining, but they need 2 scores, not 1. Second in the conference in scoring coming in.
Eddie Royal last year had returned a punt for a touchdown and had 2 reverses from his flanker position for touchdowns. So now you can see why Frank Beamer wanted him to pick up that football.
All 3 wideouts to the left. Here comes Wheeler after Glennon. He got around him and throws down the middle, and nobody could get a hand on it. Intended for David Clowney, went off his hands, and then Tech almost had a chance to intercept it. I tell you what, Philip Wheeler, he just keeps coming, doesn't he?
He does. He does. And the way this defense is structured, a lot of it's coming off the edge. And a lot of that means you have to be picked up by a blocking back or a running back. Most of those guys can't block these linebackers.
1:29 remaining. Just a 3-man rush. Nope, they're going to bring it off the corner again. Glennon completes it to Royal. Out of bounds, first down at the Georgia Tech 42. Pickup of 16.
One of the things Georgia Tech does, and this is a prevent defense, what I call it anyway. They've got 6 guys that are deep. You want to catch that ball underneath 10 to 12 yards, go ahead. You can have all those you want.
Texas Tech, we understand, did win that game. Big win for them down in Aggie land. That's not an easy place to play. Here, this isn't an easy place either. Georgia Tech made it look easy in the first half. Virginia Tech trying to make it difficult on them here in the final 1:22. Glennon throws incomplete, intended for Wheeler, the tight end, and K. Michael Hall, who along with Philip Wheeler has been all over the field today, is the guy that was out there covering. Boy, I tell you what, those 2 right there, 35 and 41.
Yeah.
I think I could play with those 2 guys.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you can coach those guys. They just never stop.
Well, one's the leading tackler and one's the second leading tackler coming into the ball game. And both are leaders of the defense.
Remember, the Hokies do not have a timeout remaining. Glennon loads, fires deep. Got a man out there. Flag down. Ball is incomplete to Clowney. Kenny Scott and Jamal Lewis out there. There's a flag at the 3-yard line.
This was a terrific pass, Grease. I mean, that ball was right on target.
Pass interference on Georgia Tech.
Clowney, yeah, he hurt his ankle, it looked like.
Remember, he's the guy, he's maybe holding his stomach. It might be where the stitches are.
Pass interference. Number 4 of the defense. 15 yards on the line of scrimmage.
Ooh.
Automatic first down.
I've never had an appendix thing, but isn't that what he's holding, guys? He landed right where you would think that would have come out, and he's trying to come back, and bless him for the guts he has to want to play football that badly after having surgery 9 days ago. You got to figure that's the problem, because it was the landing. He stretched out for this thing, had been interfered with, had it in his hands, and as he goes to brace himself, you're going to see he's going to land, boom, right where it counts. They kid him, his teammates, because everything he's got, he loves SpongeBob SquarePants, the cartoon guy. He's got SpongeBob SquarePants boxer shorts and shower slippers, and everything he's got is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Hard to run with those SquarePants.
Yeah, Well, I'm glad he's okay.
He got up and he ran off the field. He said, I'm fine. I bet he's back on the next play.
I'll tell you what, the Hokies are not giving up.
Nope, first down because of the penalty. Glennon waits and fires to the corner. Had Justin Harper out there.
Harper took a lot of time to run that route. The quarterbacks in this against this defense that the Yellow Jackets are throwing at him, they're not going to have that much time.
He had to throw before he came out of his break, and the pass was short and too far to the far side, but those are not bad numbers. And this kid, as Paul said and Bob's mentioned several times, is shaping into a pretty darn good quarterback.
He's a tough kid, I'll tell you that, because he knows these guys are just teeing off and coming at him. He's standing in there and throwing the ball.
He's been getting whacked all day. Throws on the run here, delivered low to Harper, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. A minute left at Lane Stadium, Worsham Field in Blacksburg, Virginia. Number 24 Georgia Tech just made the top 25 after their impressive performance on ESPN on the Thursday night game a week ago. This past Thursday, moved into the number 24 spot, came in here. That's a hornet's nest. This place was going crazy at the beginning, but Georgia Tech scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. 2 of them, Reggie Ball to Calvin Johnson touchdown passes, silenced the crowd. Now they're trying to hang on here in the last minute. Pass complete to Royal again, and Royal's got a first down inside the 20. 11-yard pass play.
I think, you know what else is good? This is kind of neat because your offensive lineman, you're caught in the middle of the field, and that bunch, you can hold all you want. I'm telling you, they're just pulling these guys to the ground. Robertson, number 90, went down. He complained to the official. He was tackled.
Royal now over 100 yards through the air. And Harper and Hyman go up to the right side, and Royal down to the bottom of your screen on a first down from the 17. Looking for Royal. Now he's going to go the other way. Jump ball to Harper. In and out of his hands, and he's out of bounds. And Kenny Scott says he pushed off over there, and no flag on the play. 2nd down.
He's got some poise, Bob. Lennon, for sophomore guy, first time.
He's learning. This is a great learning process for him. He's getting to throw a lot of passes against a tough defense. They're putting pressure on him, and he has to bring his club from behind.
This will make him better whether they get from behind or not. Clowney comes back into the lineup at wide receiver, one of the 3 out there. 2nd down and 10. Sean's loading and has time, throws complete. Hyman down to the 10-yard line. Remember, they have no timeouts left. Clock continues to run. And they have a 3rd down. They've got 2 plays left, but they got to hustle. Glennon trying to get him lined up. In the gun, bad snap. He picks it up. Flags are down. I think the penalty is going to be for some motion on Virginia Tech before the snap, but let's wait and see. Clock stopped with the flag with 20 seconds remaining.
Then they have to run off 10 seconds here too, huh?
The head linesman talking it over with Tom McCreesh. Motion, Virginia Tech. So in trying to get him hurried up and trying to get the snap, guys were moving out there offensively. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and long.
Illegal motion, number 19, was never set before the snap. 5 yards to the line of scrimmage. Repeat 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 15. And we're down to 20 seconds is all that remains. Line of scrimmage now back at the 15-yard line. Glennon waits and fires. He's got Royal open, and he overshot him. Out in the flat. Darrell Robertson with the hit on Glennon.
Well, Robertson's a little frustrated. He's been held twice, and he said, you know what? I'm going to nail it.
I'm going to get somebody, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to get somebody before this is over with.
And we're down to the last chance right now for Virginia Tech. 4th down and 9. First down would be at the 7-yard line, but they're thinking points, and they're thinking how many opportunities they're going to even have. So they got to go something to the end zone here to try to score a touchdown and then come up with a miracle finish. Georgia Tech's defense knows that. Glennon to the end zone, and it is broken up, and a flag comes in. Penalty marker down. Jahi Ward-Daniels and Jamal Lewis were out there, so it's not over yet.
I'll tell you what, old Bob Greasy's a little frustrated right now. He's mad. What are you mad at?
Well, I know. I just want to see if this was interference or not.
No, I don't think so. He never touched him. He never got touched.
The official
Pass
in the back.
interference, 34 of the defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
I got to tell you, this crew has had a couple problems today.
The back judge, the guy that threw it, he just,
Just threw it.
Yeah, I'm on the side of the officials unless they're, we looked at it. That was not pass interference.
He never got touched. Might be the final play of the ball game. 3 seconds remaining. And so now we will be down, barring a defensive penalty, which you never know. So Georgia Tech is going to go to 4-1.
Big win, huh?
And Virginia Tech will fall to 4-1. But there'll be a reversal in the Coastal top spot in the ACC because now Georgia Tech will be in the driver's seat, having beaten these guys. Of course, Georgia Tech's got Miami the last Saturday of October in Atlanta. And if Miami works its way back in, that'll be a huge ball game. They've got Clemson in 2 weeks. They got Maryland at home next week. Here's the lob. Jahi Daniels.
Now that's pass interference.
Well, at least they didn't call that. They must have finally realized that they did have dinner reservations before 9. It's all over. Final score 38-27. Our Chevrolet players of the game: Tashard Choice over 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Justin Harper went over 100 yards on 4 catches for Virginia Tech. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. So that's going to do it. 38-27 final score. Big win for Georgia Tech on the road over a top 15 team. Don't forget, tune in tonight for Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines here on ABC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It'll be Ohio State, the top ranked team in the land, against undefeated Iowa in the Big Ten. That's going to wrap it up. Reggie Ball finally beats Virginia Tech. For Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, and Bonnie Bernstein, Brad Nessler, so long from Blacksburg.
This has been a special presentation of ESPN College Football on ABC.